back to another Weekend Warlords stream.
Hello and welcome. I'm Nick and this is George.
Hello again.
Awesome. Yeah, welcome back to Weekend Warlords. We're going to be streaming 4 rounds of standard FNM again. We've got some amazing decks, I'm sure. Our first round, I believe, is Sam Points versus Dan Ruff. What do you think, George? Do we know what decks these people are playing?
We do know what decks these people are on. So Sam Points is on mono red aggro.
Okay, so we saw him win FNM last night.
We did. A very aggressive version of mono red aggro with a lot of burn spells and the Flame of Keld. And
do we think he's changed his deck?
No. This close to rotation, I can't imagine Sam changing his deck.
So he's on red and red.
He is on red and red, and
Cool.
And then we've got Dan on Teferi Turbo Fog, which is banned.
Okay, excellent. And this is with Nexus of Fate, I believe.
A Nexus of Fate. So the whole deck is built around taking infinite turns. Teferi lets you draw a card and untap 2 lands at the end of turn.
Nice.
That extra mana is incredibly useful for casting the 7 mana instant that is Nexus of Fate. That card will let you take an extra turn and then shuffle itself back into your library.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
The aim of the deck is to eventually find a win condition. What the win condition doesn't really matter. Be it Khan, be it Nissa, or any other, even just milling your opponent out by exiling all their permanents and waiting for them to run out of cards before you.
That sounds miserably good.
And it is. And the deck is very efficient. And the longer the games draw out, the more likely you are to draw Nexus of Fate. Because they shuffle back in, you're stripping out all the other cards in your deck.
Okay, yep. So you're improving your draws.
You are.
Making sure you're more likely to draw those Nexus of Fates.
And eventually you'll come down to nothing but 4 Nexus of Fate in your library.
So it's worth pointing out at this point that Magic rules say that you can concede at any time, George. Do you think that we're likely to see a concession before it gets to that point from Sam?
Absolutely. So for those...
Sam, I don't believe, is in the mood to be playing that sort of length of game.
No. So for the people who've seen this deck go off, then as soon as you've chained together maybe 3 or 4 extra turn spells, or as soon as they get a Teferi emblem to start exiling permanents away, then that's normally the point at which the concession comes.
Because mono red decks normally they've got a limited amount of resources to play with. Once they get to a certain point, they've sort of run out of steam and they're just drawing cards to.
So Sam's got a little bit more than your average mono red deck because he's so burn heavy. He can go to the face through fogs.
So he's got quite a lot of reach then.
He does. Now, the one kind of key sideboard card that the mono red decks use against this type of strategy is Insult to Injury.
Insult to Injury. I don't think I know that card.
So it's an Aftermath card. The front side is the relevant half, and it's 3 mana.
Okay.
Says instant and sorceries deal twice as much damage this turn.
Okay.
And damage can't be prevented.
Ooh, that sounds pretty good.
So essentially the double damage to instants of sorcery essentially isn't really all that relevant either, but it stops fogs working, which is the main thing.
Yeah, that sounds good, that does. So it stops fogs working for creatures, but fogs don't work for burn spells.
Fogs don't work for burn spells anyway, so I think the aim of the game is to get a few creatures down early, chip in damage before your opponent can start casting fogs, or until they're inclined to, close out the middle of the game with lightning strikes and other burn spells, and then aim for one final massive swing with an Insult to Injury.
So do you think we'll see some Fight with Fire?
We're not likely to see Fight with Fire, because Fight with Fire...
It's a big expensive spell, isn't it? Especially if you kick it.
It's 9 mana kicked, which for a mono red deck is essentially almost uncastable.
Almost uncastable, but with the length of game that we might see, might get there.
Potentially, but then the non-kicked version of the card is dead. 5 damage to a creature. The Turbo Fog deck doesn't run any creatures, so I wouldn't expect to see Sam bringing that in this kind of matchup.
Okay, so we're looking at some hands here. He's got some lands and some spells. That seems good. I didn't see too much of it. They've got the timer started.
Right, here we go. So
Sam's
on the plane.
Leads with a goblin. Oh, we've got a reader. So Dan, I don't believe, knowing Dan, he doesn't play all that much Standard. He plays a lot of Legacy, so he might be reading a few cards here.
Yeah, we're not going to see that many cards that cross over between Standard and Legacy. Are we?
Well, Islands. Mountain.
Islands, okay, yeah. We're not expecting him to read those cards, so just a tap land and pass.
Looks like a savannah to me, yeah.
Well, believe it or not, it does have both types.
It's another goblin of some description. Maybe.
Earthshaker Kenra.
Earthshaker Kenra. I'm so bad at looking at these artworks and understanding what these cards are.
Dan drawing a Charter Course there. So, Charter Course being good, 2 mana, draw 2 cards.
Yep, that sounds good. If you attacked with a creature, you don't have to discard a card, do you?
Now, again, this deck not running any creatures.
Right,
you
so...
almost always have to discard a card.
But that's still fine, like that's...
The point is, it's making your deck smaller.
Yeah, it's like a tormenting voice, isn't it?
It is.
Only in blue, the good colour.
Well, exactly. And better if it gets countered.
You get to draw the cards first.
You do.
So more tap lands.
That land actually enters untapped. That's a Hinterland Harbour, I believe.
Do you think it's going to matter?
It could very well do. He picked up a Charter Course, which he could have cast.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
So, I believe that is...
We're both tilting our heads to the side going, what is this card? It's because we've changed the layout for this.
Oof. So, Prowess trigger on the Soulscar Mage.
Yep.
In for 4.
And if you'd have that land untapped, you could have cast a Fog here, maybe.
Probably wouldn't expect to see him casting it quite this early, but certainly Charter Course to dig that a little bit deeper into his library.
And that's just, I believe he's borrowed this deck.
He has. He's borrowed from me, in fact.
Okay. So there may be some unfamiliarity with some of the cards. Absolutely.
So I think one of the key things here he's missed is that those cycle lands do in fact have the basic land types.
It's good to see we've got our first message in chat from I Love George Weekend Warlords. Hello, I Love George.
That's not our first message. We have one from Simon saying
hello. Oh yes, absolutely. Hello, Simon.
Hello again.
Welcome back.
Yes, that I believe Yay George is back message is from my wife, believe it or not.
Oh really? Is that her Twitch name? Is I Love George Weekend Warlords?
She did say she doesn't have a Twitch account. She was going to set one up today specifically to watch this stream.
Cool.
So.
Has she linked Amazon Prime to it by any chance?
No, we share an Amazon Prime and it's already linked to mine. So
okay, fair
not
enough.
That she could subscribe anyway because we're not currently supported.
That's true.
But, so this is the Charter Course we saw him pick up earlier. Draw 2, discard 1.
Excellent.
So by this point of the game, he has to chain together Fogs.
Okay.
Sam's got it down to 10 life, and it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 power on board. So,
but there's more than that, isn't there? Because there's prowess as well.
There is prowess, and this Flame of Keld will let Sam draw an extra 2 cards next turn. So
it's not always worth casting that Fog like that early in the game. You want to be saving them for later. Having played a little bit of Turbo Fog, it's bold.
Dan could very well be dead here during casting another Charter Course. I can't imagine this ends well for him. It would not surprise me if Sam could deal 10 points of damage here.
He's drawing a lot of cards here.
He picks up a land and a Bowmat Cry, so not the most exciting.
No, the big turn though is next turn. So maybe Dan dodges a bullet here.
Oof, Armcrop Crusher. Another 3 power haste creature.
Yep.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
8. 8 damage. So he's not dead. He's on 2. But Sam runs some shocks in his deck, doesn't he?
And in the main, I do not believe Dan has any way to prevent those burn spells going to his face.
He's got some counter spells, surely.
So the deck only runs Supreme Wells.
Oh right, okay.
Which acts as mana leaks, which a shock or a lightning strike Sam could pay for.
Yes, he could. So this is challenging.
What Dan needs here is he needs a Teferi into untap Fog.
Yep.
Hope Sam doesn't draw a burn spell. And then, so he's got the Teferi.
So there's the Teferi. Excellent. So Teferi, 5 mana Planeswalker. Draws a card, untaps 2 lands at the end of turn.
Has to be able to cast a Fog this turn, otherwise he's dead, though.
And also dodge the burn spell.
And he concedes.
He's not found it.
He doesn't manage to find that burn spell. So
sideboard now.
I'm going to go head out and see how they're sideboarding.
See how they're sideboarding. Don't forget, no coaching. Awesome. So Sam's deck, we've briefly touched on what might be sideboarded. Dan's deck, I imagine that we're going to see a couple more counter spells, so we might be looking at some negates, maybe deal with those troublesome burn spells. We'll really see what George comes back with. I have briefly seen the sideboard for Dan's sideboard. We're going to find out what's going on though. There's some discussion going on here. And Sam's really probably just trying to go faster in this sideboard matchup, I believe. That's what I would choose to do. I'd board out some creatures maybe and a little bit more burn spells.
So, having had a little chat with the players, the Turbo Fog deck is bringing in 1 Settle the Wreckage, and 2 Cleansing Nova.
Cleansing Nova, I briefly saw the sideboard. What's Cleansing Nova do? I didn't actually read it. I went, that's a spicy one, I don't know what that is.
3 generic white.
Okay, yeah, I saw it was like 5 mana or something.
For a modal spell, either destroy all creatures, or destroy all artifacts and enchantments.
Okay, so that destroys a lot of creatures from Sam's deck. Does it destroy any entertaining? It destroys the lore, the saga,
Flame of Keld. It does. But of course, the problem with that is Dan also happens to run enchantments in Searchraz Cantor, Gift of Paradise. He's not going to be wanting to choose that mode. He will be.
Okay, so it's there as a Wrath of God.
It is. So, on the other hand, Sam is taking out some of the less impactful cards. So he's bringing out Goblin Chainwhirler.
Okay,
to slow 3 mana spell, pings everything, not that relevant against Dan. He's also bringing out his less powerful burn spells, so 4 copies of Shock also coming out. In its place, he's bringing in some slightly more impactful stuff in terms of Chandra Torture Defiance, Hazaret.
Okay.
Sam's looking to go a bit bigger against his deck.
Yeah, I thought he would go a little bit faster.
See,
Hazaret might be quite fast though. It's quite good with haste.
But the problem is, as Sam himself has told me in the past, in order to get Hazaret down and attacking on turn 4, you really need to have some double spell turns.
Okay, yeah.
And taking out Shocks, which are his cheapest, one of his cheapest cards, is going to make that more difficult.
Is he taking Shock out? I don't believe he probably
did.
Took Shock out.
He's taking 4 copies of Shock and 4 Goblin Chainwhirlers out.
I think I really like Shock in this matchup though.
I like Shock in this matchup too. I'm not sure if it was me playing this matchup, I would be bringing in Hazaret or Chandra. Sam wins by going low to the ground
I could see Chandra working because you want to bring in some sort of like repeating card advantage engine against control, so that if you do get to the point where you get into the long game, you've got a little bit more game.
True, but the long game against Dan's deck is not like a normal control deck.
Yeah, no.
The long game against Dan is him taking infinite turns.
Right. Okay.
So Chandra doesn't necessarily interact with that particularly well, and if I'm sat on Dan's side of the field, which, I mean, he's borrowing my deck, I have been.
It sounds like you're pretty biased here.
I am very biased.
I mean, I am as well, because I'm not a fan of mono red.
Nor me. So,
but I've got to take devil's advocate here. So,
but if I'm sat in Dan's position, I am very happy when my opponent plays a Chandra.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It's a 4 mana shock, essentially, because by that point of the game, you've hopefully found a way to start dealing taking some extra turns.
Bowmat career here from Sam.
Exile on the top card. Hopefully, you'll be able to draw that back eventually.
It's an Anticipate.
It was an Anticipate. Good spot on the artwork.
Yes, I spotted a card. Do you think you'll play an untapped Hinterland Harbour here?
He might very well do.
Okay.
Let's see. Nope, he's going for the.
Oh!
I think he might have just spotted that he's got a check.
Oh no, he's got a basic mail forest.
So the way that Dan goes off to the races is another land here into Gift of Paradise.
Yes.
Gain 3 life, bit of ramp.
And then that leaves you a mana, any mana on tap? No,
not that turn, but the next turn you have 5 mana. But it does
gain you a bit of life, and you've got 5 mana. You can play a Teferi
on turn 4, and then untap Fog and off to the races after that.
So Sam's made one of those double spell turns, though.
He has a Soulscar Mage and a Gitu Lava Mancer from the looks of things. So that's going to be difficult. So Dan's cycling a land, draws another land in Ether Hub. It's going to be real difficult here.
Yeah.
Sam's off to a very fast start.
Well,
it really depends what you can follow up with. If Sam's got some burn spells, get some prowess triggers, Dan's going to be in a tough spot.
So it's 4 damage on the other side, 3 damage?
Tap cycle land. So currently it's 3 damage.
But he can play Anticipate, so it's not like he's got nothing to do here.
That's true. Earthshake Kenra,
that's a loss of damage.
Adding, oof. A lot of creatures being turned sideways here. Not enough room on the board.
No.
Two ranks of them.
Our tablet there taking up a bit too much space. So that looks like a... Is that a fog? That lights a little bit of a glare.
That to me looks like a root snare. So there is a little bit of glare, but that is essentially a fog. He's preventing all the combat damage this turn.
And Sam playing a card?
Well, he drew that Gift of Paradise we were just talking about.
Okay, excellent. So that does mean that he can play an untapped land, a Gift of Paradise, and have 2 mana untapped.
Still holding up a fog if need be.
That seems pretty good.
Or that Anticipate.
Or that Anticipate, indeed. What was the card that Sam played there? That cycled, maybe?
So that was a Wizard's Lightning.
Oh, so 3 damage. It's a... Yes, I know that one.
Because he has a wizard on the field, it acted as a lightning bolt. Right. So that was 3 damage and a prowess trigger. But
okay,
Dan waited until after the Wizard's Lightning had resolved to cast his fog, so the prowess trigger not actually making that much impact.
Yep.
Let's see how Sam can... See, this is the stage of the game, really, where Dan, if he wants to remain ahead, has to keep casting fogs every turn.
Yes. Sam's got a lot of cards under that Bowman Courier. Like,
there is.
It's up to 4 now, I think.
He's still got a reasonable amount in hand, though. He's...
Dan reminding him to trigger the Bowman Courier. Excellent.
Let's see. Another Gissu Lavamancer there. Only 1 instant of sorcery in the graveyard.
That's a little bit of an overcommit? So there's that Anticipate. If Dan can find a Wrath of God here, that's really good for him.
Sam is somewhat protected by all those cards under the Bowman Courier, but still...
Okay, so that's a land and...
2 lands and a
spell.
fog.
2 lands and a fog, that's pretty good.
So he's taken the fog there, doesn't feel
I think that's what I probably would have taken in his situation.
He needs to find a Teferi, that's his main engine card. Even a Search for Ascanter here would be of benefit.
So you need to do something more than just fog then?
Yes.
Fog, draw some cards.
You have to reach the point of the game where fog is acting as an extra turn spell.
Time walk, yes, absolutely.
He's passing the turn back, so doesn't look like he's got a great deal of cards in hand. We know he's got 1 copy of Fog he picked up off the Anticipate, but what else could he have?
So, excellent.
Another Soulscar Mage played. We know Dan's got the Fog. Yeah, I think he was sensible to cast it there. That's a lot of damage coming across.
That is a lot.
So he's essentially bought himself an extra turn there.
Yep.
What can he find? We have to... It has to be one of these draw cards. So what I think he needs to see here is... Well, it has to be Teferi.
How much mana is he at?
He's at 7 mana. He could start taking extra turns now, but...
It's sorcery speed extra turns, isn't it? So...
No, they're instant speed.
Yes, but he probably doesn't want to cast one on Sam's turn. Because he might just die.
So, it is Turbo Fog that he's playing at the moment. What do you mean it's something fun? Turbo Fog is about as fun as it gets.
Yes.
For Dan, at least.
Yeah, yeah.
Although, from the looks of it, I think Sam's probably enjoying himself 1 game up and turning a lot of cards sideways.
Okay, so more Fog. So at this point, it is just Time Walk.
Sam's sacking the Bowman Courier. Doesn't want to take his time to get any more cards under there.
Well, he had a Hazoret in hand and he wasn't really getting too close. Like, that's a lot of creatures in play.
It is.
And it also interacts really well with the Flame of Keld as well, because he's just played it, discarded, ticks up, discards his hand, and then he can Bowman Courier to draw those next cards.
Ether Hub for Dan,
Ether
getting
Hub
1
with an energy, yeah.
I tell you what, that Cleansing Nova we were just discussing, that would be very good here.
Oh, absolutely.
Or it does look like Sam is very much playing in to settle the wreckage.
Yes. Yes, he's not really held much back, has he?
No, there's only 1 copy of that in Dan's deck post board, so
but
he's taking an extra turn.
If this seems
desperate.
Like, yeah, he's just trying to dig for more things.
It's acting as an explorer, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
but sometimes explorer is what you need.
Absolutely, and if it's just finding the right combination of cards. It wins. It is a combo deck.
Absolutely.
And every time he casts it, he draws an extra card, essentially. So he's making the deck smaller, digging to what he needs, in a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not the most efficient way, but it is a way. 2 mana here.
Green and 1.
He's cycling.
Yeah. Okay.
Supreme Will.
Supreme Will. So that's a counterspell or a search for cards, isn't it?
It is. So it's either an impulse or it's a mana leak.
So Impulse might be good enough. How many Fogs is the deck running? 8?
Eight copies of...
Okay.
Well, no, the deck is actually running 7 copies of Prevent All Combat Damage.
Yeah.
But if you look at Sam's board, they're all very small creatures.
Yes.
And the deck is also running 2 copies of Crippling Chill.
So that shrinks all their power, doesn't it?
It does. Creatures target opponent controls get -2/-0 till end of turn.
Okay.
And draw a card.
Yeah.
Cycling. It draws you a card and...
That's pretty good. Drawing a card is... and making creatures smaller. That seems like what this deck wants to do. That was an interesting hand. So I believe he's got a Fog, 2 blue spells.
No, this is for his Anticipate.
This is
what he's looking at.
so it's what he's looking at.
No, he's the Supreme.
No, his hand. Sorry, it's what he's looking at, isn't it?
Oh, I think if he's got a Fog...
You can't take the Teferi here.
If he's got a Fog already, you have to take the Teferi.
Yes.
If he hasn't got a Fog, then I think he's pretty much dead already anyway.
We shall see.
What is
Maybe he had it all along, and
if he
he's
has,
just taken the Teferi.
Be in a very strong position if he had.
Yes.
Did we see... he's still digging for removal spells. Settle the Wreckage here would be very good.
Yes, absolutely.
Sam has not been playing around it, not expecting it from this deck, obviously.
Well, your opponent's playing white mana and blue spells. You should probably expect to settle the Wreckage. Picking up a lot of creatures here. Everything's in.
I mean, Dan doesn't have the mana to play.
Dan can't play
Settle,
Settle, so Sam can quite happily play around it.
And he Lightning Strikes, get Power Strike. And Dan,
oh, no.
Dan scoops it up. That
I think he miscounted how many extra turns he had, maybe.
Potentially. So that is the end of days for
That's
Dan.
Yeah. So that's the end of round 1. Sam wins 2-0. Which is, well, he is the end boss of FNM.
Here's a suggestion for feature. Why don't we ask Dan to come in here and give us a little chat about what potentially went
Yeah,
went
absolutely.
wrong
So I'll move out and you can chat to him about your deck.
Well, I was about to say, actually, did you want to discuss with him? And I'll go out there and have a game with Sam and we can see how the deck is supposed to...
Are you saying you can do better?
I think so. Sam's deck's supposed to be one of the better matchups for the deck.
Okay, cool, no problem. So let's get Dan in here then. So we're getting Dan in here to talk about his game that he's just had, and George reckons he could do better. This may be true, He did play this. He has played this deck a few times, so we'll see where we get to. Hello, Dan.
Hello.
Hi, this is Dan.
Hello.
Dan was piloting Turbo Fog this last game. How was it?
Well, it's quite a strange draw. Reflecting on it, I think I maybe should have mulliganed slightly more aggressive.
Okay, because your hand was, I think it was 4 lands and a couple of spells.
Yes.
In game 1, certainly.
It was. I mean, game 1 was fine. Game 2, I think I kept 2 Fog and 5.
Yep.
Which was, I mean, as I said, first time I piloted the deck, it looked alright, but in the end, it seemed like I underestimated how much advantage I needed. I needed that one extra draw at some point to be able to do something, and then Fog, and that just never materialised.
Fair enough. So the last turn of that game, you played.
I completely screwed that up.
Oh right, okay. So did you think you had an extra turn?
No,
available?
I thought I had a green mana and.
We didn't. Oh right, okay. We didn't see what you took. Did you take a Fog?
Huh? Yes, I did.
Yes,
I did take the Fog. Yeah, it was. I felt like for the entire second game, I always felt like I was 1 mana short of doing it. I needed 4 mana for the Khan and then the Fog, and then obviously that didn't happen. I mean, overall, it's quite a funny deck. I think. I think it can do better if it is piloted, a bit more competent.
Well, we're about to see. Sam took his Shocks out against you, by the way.
Okay.
Which was a very interesting call.
I mean, I
think I like Shock against the Turbo Fog deck.
No, I do see the idea, because I think what he was trying to do and succeeded in the second game is you want to get the Turbo Fog deck to a point where you have to Fog every turn, or otherwise be in lightning strike range.
Yes, okay. But one Wrath of God and he was dead.
Oh yes, he would have absolutely died. I bought it in all my Wraths, and I think he would have died to a Wrath, even with his little man that brought back all his cards.
Banefire, yes, you're absolutely right. Praise the Fox. Banefire is much better than Shock. I don't know whether Sam's playing any Banefires though.
He showed me game 3. He showed me the post-board Banefire. So
okay, so he did have Banefires.
It may have come out of the board, but
okay.
Yeah, see that is something I should have looked for. Is just the charter course, because you need to get rid of those extra additional lands. Otherwise, you just end up with a couple of Fox and lands.
Play like 26, 27 lands, isn't it?
Doesn't get you anywhere.
So Sam's playing some aggressive monsters here. So I believe
it seems like the only thing the deck is capable of doing.
Well, it sort of escalates its damage as well with those Flame of Kelds.
I mean, in general, I think I haven't as you may have explained, I haven't played a terrible lot of Standard recently.
No, we were saying this. We were talking about how you had, I believe, a Hinterland Harbour on turn 2 that came into play tapped when it should have made maybe untapped.
Well, yeah, I said that is just how much I do I am with Standard.
Yes,
but,
because like we actually have real dual lands in Standard.
but you could,
dummy dual lands even.
Yes. But I think I like what the deck adds to the Standard environment.
Yeah.
Because it is a bit beat down focused at the minute, and this is just trying to sort of,
Hi Camille, we're missing you. I hope you're enjoying Nottingham. Yeah, I think so too. Like playing a bunch of creatures out, burning them out, which is probably definitely the plan that Sam is on. Sam here he's got a lot of creatures, a lot of little monsters in play. It's attacking Georgetown quite a way. Oh, there's a Hazaret as well.
Yeah,
Hazaret's an ongoing source of damage as well to discard cards out. I think that's quite nice.
He's got a search.
I think there's a Nexus of Fate and a land. I think I probably want the search for Ascanta here. Oh no, he's going to take the cycling land. It's because he can draw a card right away now.
Yes. Which I presume is what's happening now. No.
No, he's obviously he might not have any lands in hand. That might be part of it. Yep, there's the land. So is Turbo Fog the sort of deck that you enjoy playing?
Normally, yes. I mean, it is. I enjoy playing every deck that doesn't try to win by actually, dealing 20 points of damage to your opponent.
Okay, yep. So it's quite interesting in that state of affairs. So what is its win condition then?
To be honest, I'm not entirely sure. I think the plan is
maybe boredom.
No, yes, boredom certainly is a factor.
Your opponent quitting in disgust.
It's not quite stacks level disgusting. But I think the idea is you get.
It might be stasis level disgusting.
Yes. I think what you want to do, at least what my plan was, drop a Teferi, untap 2 mana to play your fork, then untap, then take your extra turn, take up Teferi, and ultimately here's Teferi. Untaps 2 lands, so now he should have the fog ready to deal with him.
Oh, that's a hell of a hand.
We can see it. Oh yeah,
looks like a post sideboard game as well.
He's also got the post board Wrath. Yeah.
Sam dealing a bit more damage there. Yes. But no, the fog comes straight down.
And here comes the fog. And
so excited about that. Take the right mana, George.
Can I give you some results, gents?
Oh, yes, please.
Josh Love 1-2-0.
So Josh 1-2-0.
Yeah. Matt Perry 1-2-1.
Matt Perry 1-2-1, did you say?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
There's a game as well, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Just entering some results. We're backstage here at Weekend Warlords, and we're also doing the results for FNM as well, so we're scorekeeping for them. So this deck seems like it's motoring now, just drawing through all its cards, ticking up Teferi, drawing more cards.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't quite seen what he's drawn now, but he's now obviously you're in the spot where you tap some mana, you draw your cards with Teferi, you draw some more cards, and you just dig deeper for that additional fork, and Teferi's already on 6, so that was already danger territory.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because here we go. 4. It's just the constant onslaught.
A Settle the Wreckage here.
Yeah.
Excellent. So Sam exiles all his attacking creatures and gets a basic land for each. There should be no shortage of mountains in his deck. Who'd have thought that Sam Points would be playing mono red?
Well, I mean, it doesn't sound Sam at all. I don't think I've ever seen him play anything else.
I've seen him play blue-white control, but only when it was the best deck in the format.
Yes. But as you can see now, tick up, draw some more cards.
Yeah.
It's another land. What have we got here? That is... That looks like Oath of Teferi?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, Sam's in trouble now.
He is indeed.
Oh.
I'm just going to have a quick look. I need to understand what Oath of Teferi actually does.
If I remember right, when it enters the battlefield, you exile another permanent.
Yep.
That comes back at the end of the turn, and you can activate your Teferi Planeswalker twice every turn.
Okay, cool.
Which obviously means it's going to take even faster, but it looks like Sam's got him.
Ah, right, excellent.
Because
Got him.
And that's, I mean, maybe one of the downsides in the current stand environment is the digging. Is, I mean, your best digging spell is either your flip Surgiver's counter, which is not really the most likely thing to happen against mono red. Short of that, you are left with Supreme Will, which is
which it's not a great counter spell. Like, not when the opponent's got all that mana in play, but it's quite good at digging for extra cards.
But it is 3 mana you have to have, and then be able to cast the Flock.
Yeah.
Because by that time you are already in trouble most of the time.
So how did Sam? I missed it because I was busy searching for cards. How did Sam get him? Did he just discard cards to his Hazoret?
I didn't quite, but I presume that's what happened.
Yeah, because George was getting precariously low there. I think the fact that Sam's dealing damage in small chunks also hurts quite a lot. So George has to have a lot of mounts, a lot of fogs.
It may be. I mean, I know Sam has probably spent most of his week sitting wherever he was sitting during the week, thinking about how can I beat the Turbo Flock deck, because that's the only deck that caused some real trouble to him.
But certainly for when Sam's been thinking about Magic, he probably has been thinking about playing mono red. Cool. Well, excellent. We saw George having. Well, we're going to have to get George back in here. And you didn't do it, George. You didn't get there. You said you could do better.
I did. I lasted for more turns.
Oh, yes, more turns, but then you lost anyway. Like, it's all results focused here.
Yeah, the man jumped a lightning strike off the top. I had no way to play around that card.
And that Hazoret providing recursive damage as well.
Yeah, discarding a card every turn. Draw. It means that his worst draw becomes a shock.
Yes.
So his worst draw, land, discard it. Sam at the end there did confirm that it was a mistake to attack with the Hazoret.
Okay, yeah.
I needed a fog one way or the other, and the Hazoret was overkill in the attack.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Should have played around the settle.
Yeah.
Had he not have lightning strikes, I did have a Gift of Paradise.
Okay.
To come down,
draw
gain me
small
3
cards,
life.
gain some more life.
Yeah. So
go back up. Thank you very much, Dan.
Yes,
Cheers
thanks,
for coming
Dan.
to commentate as well on that.
It was good seeing him play the deck, though.
Yeah.
It's interesting seeing someone play my deck. So
yes. Quickly check on some results, make sure that they're all in correctly. So we're also scorekeeping here for Weekend Warlords at their FNM. So just need to make sure. So we've got Sam in. Sam has won 2-0. Matt Perry has won 2-1. I wonder if he's on that Sultai Reanimator deck we saw last time.
I really hope so.
That would
I love
be cool.
Muldrotha.
Yeah. And then Josh Love won 2-0. I don't know what Josh is playing. Beats Sam Cook.
So we're just awaiting the results of 3 games now. Alex Pegler versus Justin Denham. Joe Quilty versus Cedric Yin.
Yeah.
And Oliver Pass versus Thomas Love. So I know Joe's on Godfarrow's Gift, same as last week.
Is he playing? Okay. Is he playing the red? Do we know if he's playing the red splash or just blue-white?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Don't hold me to that, but I don't think he is.
Fair enough.
Alex Pegler, I imagine he's probably on the black-white.
He's probably got some white foil cards in this
Knights/Angels deck he was on last week.
He said he was Angels when I spoke to him after. I believe he's playing more Angels than he is Knights.
Okay, fair enough.
But when you only draw 2 or 3 lands, probably all you can play is Knights.
Very true. I mean, last week we did see both the Knight of Grace and the Knight of Malice.
Okay.
And History of Benalia. So
right.
That's a reasonable amount of Knight generation, even in an Angels deck.
That's pretty good.
So Cedric, I imagine, is probably on a control deck.
That does seem Cedric's kind of style, unless he's on like mono green Stompy.
Potentially, there's always a chance. Obviously, the game has been going for a while, so I imagine that could be down to the fact that someone's playing control.
That could be down to the fact that Cedric is playing someone.
That's true. Joe's deck does go into the long game quite nicely with Godfarrow's Gift, so could be anything there. And the other decks, I don't know. Oliver, I believe the last time I saw him was playing Black White Vampires.
Yep.
I imagine he might be on the same thing tonight. We'll find out when we start getting some results in.
Cool.
But so, what would you be playing if you were?
So I would be playing blue-white approach. So actually, currently, I have 3 decks currently that I would be thinking about standard.
Okay.
So blue-white approach at the second sun. So casting spells to win the game without making creatures.
Yep. Your opponent still wins the game on 20 or more life.
Yes. So my opponent is going to sit there and be very upset when I just cast a massive life gain spell.
Yep.
It's got a lot of Wrath of Gods. It's a more standard control kind of deck. It's less combo-y. It's playing a lot of Wrath of Gods, a lot of removal, a lot of counter spells, and 2 or 3 copies of Approach of the Second Sun.
Is that the only way to win the game in it?
That's the only way in the main deck.
Wow. And in the sides?
In the sideboard, I've got a couple of blue Gearhulks, torrential Gearhulks.
Yep.
Couldn't afford the Lyras, so originally I built this deck out the Challenger deck. So
Okay. Yep.
it's mostly the Challenger deck. Oh, sorry, the main deck I have some Tefris, but I don't really think that's too much of a winning condition.
The man who can't afford Lyras has got the deck filled with Tefris.
I was very lucky with the boosters I opened. I opened 2 Tefris and a foil Tefri out of the boosters I opened.
Wow.
So I was lucky enough to have the Tefris I needed. I traded my foil Tefri in for multiple Tefris and some extra cards as well. So I have my Tefris, thankfully. But Lyra, I decided not to play Lyra. I actually quite like the... I can't remember what it's called. The Felidar something or other. The one that makes cats. So it's a cat itself. Give cats +1/+1 of lifelink.
Yes, Regal Caracal.
Regal Caracal. I've got 4 copies of Regal Caracal in the sideboard.
In some ways, that can be better than Lyra.
Indeed, it goes wider. It's better at blocking the sort of draws that we've seen out of Sam's deck. Gives a bit more life link. It just lets you block more.
It's
things.
not legendary.
It's not legendary. I can play more than one out. I have beaten people to death with cats. That's deeply satisfying. And the other way to win the game in the sideboard is 1 copy of Nezahal.
Yes.
The giant legendary blue dinosaur from Ixalan.
Yeah, a bit of a strange one, the blue dinosaur.
Yeah, I know. It was a blue swimming ichthyosaur thing.
Okay.
It's so amazingly good. Certain decks cannot deal with it. Cats, yes, cats. Thanks, Hannah. Yes, cats is a thing that you can play in Magic and kill your opponent with. Also, squirrels.
Squirrels, you can die to squirrels, especially helped by the new Unset. Unstable had a lot of squirrel synergies.
What are we seeing in the next set? So the next set's Ravnica.
Return to Ravnica.
Yeah, there's a lot of returns there. We are once again going back to Ravnica for our 3rd instalment. And the creature tokens we're seeing there are knight tokens, I believe.
We've seen a couple of bits and pieces. So we've seen soldiers.
Yeah.
You've seen the new take on Doomed Traveller.
Yes, I have. So it's I don't know if it's a cleric, but it dies and makes a 1-mana 1/1 life linking
soldier. Yes.
Soldier. We've seen that before, but with cats.
We have seen that with cats. We've also got the incredible removal spell.
Yeah.
Goodness me, that is going to be...
So it's Assassin's something or other, is it?
Assassin's Trophy.
Assassin's Trophy, that's
Black
the one.
and green, destroy target permanent.
Yeah.
Its controller may search for a basic land and push it onto the battlefield.
Yes, that seems crazy. So that's the same downside as Path to Exile, off of Modern.
Which sees Path to Exile sees a hell of a lot of play in Modern.
It saw a hell of a lot of play when it was legal in Standard as well.
And it's seeing some play in Legacy. People have realised that without a lot of basic lands in people's decks, in many cases it can be better than Swords to Plowshares.
So do you think this card is better than Abrupt Decay, which is a very similar card?
I think it is better than Abrupt Decay.
Really? But Abrupt Decay can't be countered.
Very true, but then Abrupt Decay can't hit a lot of the things.
Like Jace the Mind Sculptor.
A lot of the times, playing Sultai in Modern, for example, you're sat there with both a Fatal Push and Abrupt Decay in hand, and your opponent casts a Gurmag Angler, and you feel a bit silly, don't you?
Yeah, Gurmag Angler is a bit of a beating.
Whereas this answers Gurmag Angler, it answers Planeswalkers, and you know what? In some decks, like against Storm, for example, Abrupt Decay, Fatal Push can just be dead cards.
Yeah.
Whereas this can hit basic lands even.
Oh, that's awesome. I do love myself a good destroy target land spell, but they get a land out of it, so it's not as bad as it could be.
True, but then as we said in Legacy, some decks don't play any basic lands.
That's very true.
So you can just use it as a 2-mana Stone Rain at instant speeds.
So good.
And in Modern, one of the things that the Jund players have been especially excited about is the fact that it hits Tron lands.
Yes, it hits Tron lands, it hits Karn, it hits whatever other nonsense permanents that Tron is going to be playing.
Because both
Like Ugin.
Damping Sphere was not good enough.
No, not good enough. We want to. But then again, have you seen the other card that hates on Tron as well? There's a red bear, I believe, or maybe piker. Hang on, I'm just going to have a quick look at the internet, see if I can find it.
What effect does it have?
So it's like 1 and tap, sacrifice it, destroy target colourless permanent or something.
Including land?
Yeah, so here we go.
Oh, non-land permanent.
Goblin Crater Maker. I'm just going to try and get this up on stream. 2 seconds.
Oh, I see.
So here we go, Goblin Crater Maker. Sacrifice Goblin Crater Maker, choose 1. Deals 2 damage to target creature or destroy target colourless non-land permanent.
Are you really comparing this in the same sentence to Assassin's Trophy?
No, I'm not. But what I am doing is saying that this is a playable card that also hates on Tron.
Absolutely. But I think what the amazing thing about the Assassin's Trophy card is that you can play 4 of in the main and it's never a dead card.
That's true.
It will always be able to destroy something.
This is a 2 mana 2 for 2. It's a goblin, so that actually might have some meaning in that it can be played in a goblins deck in Legacy and the sideboard for those people who still want to play goblins.
There are some people who want to play goblins. One of the most recent Legacy GPs, the one that Reed Duke was followed in, goblins made it to the top 8.
It did indeed, and this is a brilliant sideboard card for goblins.
Potentially, very good against Eldrazi.
Yeah, and Mud. That's another good
Mud. Okay.
It's good against the. So it's also good against the mono red prison decks out there as well. So it gets to destroy a Chalice, gets to destroy an Aether Vial against Death and Taxes.
Does it get to kill an Emrakul?
It does get to kill an Emrakul.
So,
and that seems quite good when your opponent's casting Show and Tell.
Yes, that's very true. Even against a sneak attack.
Yeah.
You get to Show and Tell. You get to put this in, then you get to put an Emrakul.
Emrakul versus the crappy Goblin Crater Maker.
Not quite as good as the Show and Tell Caracas, but...
No, you don't get to Assassin's Trophy an Emrakul though.
No, you don't.
But you do get to Goblin Crater Maker one. I like this card. I like this card. I know it's edge case, but I looked at it and went, oh, even more reason that Wizards don't like Tron. To be honest, I'm not a fan of Tron. I'm a Jund player at heart, and I struggle. I've played that deck in Grand Prix, in PTQs, and Tron is a beating, an absolute beating.
It has gotten a lot easier though, with the printing of cards like Damping Sphere, with the printing of Assassin's Trophy. It does seem like Jund might be climbing back to the top again slowly after a hiatus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe the glory days of 2013 might be returning, and Jund might be on top of the pile again.
Cool.
Goodness me.
I know, but I think green black on its own. Maybe you don't need now that you've got the Assassin's Trophy. Maybe you don't need the red cards.
Back to rock.
So red was there for Lightning Bolt and Terminate. Now Terminate's not so needed if you're going to be playing Bloodbraid. Right. So you and I differ on Bloodbraid Elf. You think Bloodbraid Elf is the best thing ever?
I want to play 4 copies in every deck. That's why, that's the whole reason for me transitioning my modern deck. I was playing Eldrazi Tron, and then Bloodbraid was unbanned, and I decided I have to fit green and red into an Eldrazi shell, so I shifted to green-red Eldrazi to play Bloodbraid.
So I will say this about Bloodbraid Elf. It's so much better when you get to start cast it on turn 3.
Yes. Which the Eldrazi deck does with Noble Hierarch.
That's true. I think we've got another result.
Have we got time on the round yet, guys?
We've got 5 minutes left.
5 minutes left,
still.
I believe.
How many games you got left?
Three left to go.
So,
So my opinion on Bloodbraid Elf is that it's great. It's just not that great. I think it's a lovely 2-for-1.
Yeah.
But it's incredibly random.
So what are you playing instead? What kind of 4-drop are you sticking into Jund at the top
I
end?
don't think I'm playing many 4-drops. If I am, I'm going to play...
Huntmaster?
Huntmaster of the Fell is one. Chandra is one, if I'm going to play Jund.
Can see that.
Kalitas
Kalitas
could be an
does see
option.
some sideboard play against...
He has seen some play historically.
Alex Pegler lost 2-0.
Okay, yes.
Justin took down the game against Alex Pegler. Very well done to Justin there.
Excellent, great news.
Okay, I see.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not biased.
What about...
So, the other thing is maybe Garrick, the Flip Planeswalker, I've forgotten what his name is now. Garrick Relentless.
Garrick Relentless. Garrick is a good shout.
Thrun, the Last Troll.
Alright, so there are some 4-drops, but...
There are some good 4-drops out there.
I think without Bloodbraid...
Is it the old demon from the original Ravnica? The 6 mana, they have to sacrifice creatures or tap it down. Oof. That's quite entertaining as well. But I prefer my green-black X decks to be lower to the ground. I don't actually like to be playing 4-drops. That's a bit too many in my opinion.
Interesting.
But in a deck that wants to play Bloodbraid Elf, you probably can't go wrong with it. Like, Bloodbraid Elf is a very powerful card.
But I completely see where you're coming from. The times when I've been playing Jund recently, I cast a Bloodbraid onto an empty board, cascade into a Terminate.
On an empty board, Bloodbraid is amazing, but there are so many creatures out there that are bigger than 3/2.
Yeah, but the problem is, I can see where you're coming from. I Bloodbraid into a Terminate on an empty board and then just don't get to cast it. It's 4 mana 3/2.
But against decks that have empty boards, you board out the Terminates.
True. Very true.
And now you maybe don't play Terminate because Assassin's Trophy is a thing. You get to go Bloodbraid, Assassin's Trophy, blow up your land.
So
you're just smiling.
Yeah, I am smiling. That's brilliant. So are you shifting to pure green-black rock then?
I really like the idea of green-black rock. What's the gold? It's green-black card. It's from
Grim Flayer.
Grim Flayer, thank you very much. So,
I just knew as soon as you said green black card, I just had that black card in my head.
I think Grim Flayer is really good. So maybe even that and Dark Confidant together in the same deck, that's a lot of card advantage.
And playing Dark Confidant, cutting your 4-drops is also a good idea for that reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hate that moment when you're sat there going, I can win the game next turn, so long as my Bloodbraid, so long as my Dark Confidant is good to me on the flip.
Yeah, and then Grim Flayer is so good with Dark Confidant because you get to stack the top of your deck as well with it.
You do. You get to have some selection. You get to hide a land on top.
Surveil.
Surveil? I believe
we're going to have some entertaining pronunciations of that. Because I hate to think how LSV is going to pronounce that. Servile.
Or saffron olive.
So the French pronunciation of it, which is a French word, would be survey.
Yeah.
With the silent L at the end.
But the Americans are not known for their pronunciation of French words particularly well.
Yeah, or any words. Green Sun Zenith, for example.
Yeah, there's a lot of... Yeah.
It gets me every time. Every time.
There's a lot of cards that have rather unique names.
Yep.
Some cards I'm not sure even I know how to pronounce correctly.
No, there are some cards out there that are rather rough on the pronunciation.
So
this is what happens when you got a fantasy card game, though, right?
True.
That they make words up.
They do make the words up, and sometimes you see words that you're not sure whether or not are real. You go away and look them up.
Or like a symbiont.
Yes, like a symbiont. Is that a real thing?
I thought it was a symbiote or maybe a symbiont.
Yeah.
But a symbiont is some sort of robot thing, right?
Yes.
Or at least from my Red Dwarf perspective. Symbiote is
like a parasite.
Like a parasite, yes.
Okay.
Like a wirewood symbiote.
So for those people who like watching Stargate SG-1.
Yeah, it's those sort of things.
Like the
Playing elves. Playing elves,
yeah, absolutely. So what else from new Ravnica are you excited by? I'm
excited by the new Snapcaster spell.
Ooh.
So the Snapcaster spell is called...
As I've said before, I like it because it flips Delver of Secrets, which Snapcaster does not do.
Mission briefing. So mission briefing says surveil 2. Then choose an instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. You may cast that spell this turn. If that card would be put into your graveyard this turn, exile it instead. So you get to flip 2 cards, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put some in your graveyard. Then you get to cast something from your graveyard. An instant sorcery spell. So it's an instant. It's blue, so it's a little bit more mana intensive than Snapcaster Mage was. And you're missing that 2/1 body as well.
Okay, so there are some drawbacks, but in what way is this potentially better than Snapcaster Mage?
So in certain decks, you care about instant sorceries. So if you want to see more instant sorceries, so if you're playing something that's creatureless, or if you're playing, I don't know, it flips Delver of Secrets quite nicely, doesn't it?
It does flip Delver of Secrets. It also doesn't target.
Oh yeah, okay.
2-1 to Tom Love.
2-1 to Tom Love. So Tom Love wins 2-1 over Oliver Parks.
Just waiting for one more.
So if you, for example, your opponent has a Scavenging Ooze on the field, and you Snapcaster, your opponent can just gobble up whatever you target with the Snapcaster.
Yeah.
Not a great deal of value there.
No, but this mission briefing, you choose what you're going to return. Flashback, for want of a better word.
On resolution.
When you cast it. I hadn't spotted that.
Absolutely.
That's really cool.
And because of that, you don't need anything good in your graveyard to begin with. You could just have a generic value spell in the graveyard, like a Serum Visions.
Yeah.
Then you could surveil into a much more powerful card, put it in the graveyard.
Like a Thought Scour, for example.
Like a Thought Scour. I was thinking more like a Path to Exile or a Facial Push.
Yeah,
and then you can choose to cast that as the spell resolves. So, I'm not saying for a second this is better than Snapcaster Mage, but in some corner cases it has more utility.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Plus you can Snapcaster, flashback mission briefing to flashback something else.
No, it's too deep. Too deep.
Are there cases when you want to play, say, Snapcaster number 5?
Yes, there are definitely places where you want to play Snapcaster number 5. I've seen decks playing Jess, Kessian Thief, or whatever it is, in Legacy. So where people are playing that many Snapcaster mages that they want to be playing more.
And in Modern, I've seen Torrential Gearhulk, because Snapcaster for Cryptic Command is 6 mana.
Yep.
So is Torrential Gearhulk, but Torrential Gearhulk leaves behind a 5/6 instead of a 2/1.
Yes.
So,
absolutely. And the other place this sees play is Cube as well.
Cube.
So
it's a place I never really think of. But...
I'm thinking about maybe getting one for Cube to go in my Cube, because I've got a Snapcaster Mage in there already.
Of course.
And more Snapcaster Mage's effects is amazing. The other place this really probably shines is a Storm deck in Cube.
Storm deck in Cube.
So sometimes, like, your Storm decks want to be replaying their Storm cards.
True.
And this goes quite nicely in there if you want to, I don't know, brain freeze your opponent a second time.
Oh, that's very true. Like in Modern, when you see someone grape shot, remand their own grape shot you again. Instead, you can mission briefing it.
You can mission briefing for it again.
That's good. What do you think about the mana cost? Double blue does make it that harder to kind of splash.
It does. The Eternal formats, though, aren't so fussed about it, because the decks you want to be playing Snapcaster Mage in probably are playing a lot of blue mana.
True. So,
but the decks that you're playing Snapcaster Mage in, you probably just want to play Snapcaster Mage. Where this is probably really going to shine is Standard. The mana is getting better in Standard because we're seeing shock lands.
Shock with check lands, back to the last Ravnica set.
Absolutely. So which dual lands are rotating out? It's the cycling lands.
It's the cycling lands and it's the fast lands. We lose.
Okay.
We lose the Kaladesh
that'll
lands.
Be sad, but I have enjoyed playing those fast lands.
I certainly have as well. They're very powerful, and it's nice to finally see cycles completed.
Yes.
One thing that really, really annoys me is when they don't complete cycles of lands.
So how do you feel about the lands from Future Sight? So we've seen one of those cycles completed. So we've seen the filter lands, the Graven Cairns cycle has been completed.
Yes.
Do you think we'll ever see a Horizon Canopy cycle of lands? Or a Grove of the Burnwillows cycle of lands?
Wow. No. I simply don't.
We could see, however, a River of Tears cycle of lands.
We could see a River of Tears. That's something that is a possibility, but
that's basically a landfall cycle of lands, isn't it?
Very true. Speaking of lands, Shockland reprints.
Shockland reprints. The new artwork on them is absolutely gorgeous as well.
The only
so I had a discussion with one of my friends at work recently about this, and I said, "Oh, aren't they just worse than the original ones?" And he went, "I'll go away and have a look." And he's come back and said, "I really like them." So the new Steam Vents, I agree, is absolutely gorgeous.
Do you really?
I think it's so much better than the. We've just got these up on the stream as well. So
this Steam Vents artwork. My big problem with it, although it looks gorgeous in itself,
it is no Steam Vents.
There's no Steam or Vents. It's very generic.
Have we got?
It was a draw.
It was a draw. Okay,
Of
a
course it
1-1
was.
draw.
So the Overgrown Tomb looks gorgeous. Looks like an Overgrown Tomb.
Yep.
Temple Garden looks gorgeous. But my one issue is Steam Vents. There's no Steam and there's no Vents. So what is it?
But it looks so much nicer than all the previous Steam Vents that we've seen.
True. I'll give you that.
Just printing the pairings off for round 2. So we need to decide on a feature match table. What feature match would you like to see, George?
I think I'd like to see Matt Parry versus Thomas Love.
Okay, cool.
That is currently sat at our top table. I'd quite like to see Joe Quilty's deck, but he played against Sam, and I'm a bit bored of Mono Red Aggro.
I don't want to see Mono Red Aggro again either.
So let's have Matt Parry and Thomas Love on the top table.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
So
Steam Vents, a lovely card, but not very Steam Ventsy.
Not very Steam Ventsy. But one thing you will notice is, look at this artwork for Overgrown Tomb.
Yes.
Quite a beautiful looking Overgrown Tomb, yes?
Yeah.
Now, does that seem familiar in any way when you look at Vraska?
Oh, it's in the background on the Vraska artwork.
Before the tomb gets overgrown, it's in the background of the Vraska.
Oh, so you're saying that Vraska's going to cause those vines to grow over the top of it?
Could very well do.
So that's a very nice Vraska. It's full bleed, as it were. It looks like an altar to me.
Can you see what she's holding as well?
Well, I'm going to peer at the screen for a moment.
That is the thematic compass.
Oh, right, yes.
From Ixalan.
Okay.
One of those flip artifact cards.
Yeah.
Thematic compass lets you tutor up a land for 3 mana.
So she's brought that with her.
And it flips into the Maze of Ith. So she's brought that with her to Ravnica.
Another maze on Ravnica.
Well, I don't know, but that card is certainly there. So
okay.
Taking embarrassment.
Okay, so we're just looking through Matt's
So
deck.
Matt Perry has just brought through a deck. So, oh wow, he's on Grixis Dragons.
Oh yes.
Bonus is the only blue.
Quietly, don't tell his opponent.
Okay, so we're Nick's just going to update the names, but we're expecting Matt Perry on Grixis Dragons. Now I've no idea what Thomas is on. Do you?
No, I don't.
So that's going to be a cheeky little surprise for when he starts. So Matt just came through, handed us his deck to avoid the embarrassment of us trying to guess what he was on like last week. A demanding matchup, yes, the demanding dragon's in there. Good pun.
Right, we've got a colourblind issue going on with the iPad at the moment, I think.
Do we?
Yeah, Tom can't see blue.
All right, okay.
So we have blue on the iPad, you can't see it.
Okay.
I think we've just changed it though.
Okay, that is fine.
So Tom Love, do we know what?
What would be interesting is if you could get the players list up on the stream for the next round and let the stream decide who go on the top.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's good.
So yeah, we'll stick up the player list after this game. We'll let you guys decide what you want to see. I think
yeah,
we'll give you a little hint of what decks people are playing to give you a sort of
absolutely
flavour of what's out there, but we'll give you the opportunity. But yeah, so that's one of the other exciting cards from Ravnica New Vraska.
So how do you get one in full bleed like that? Is
So
that out of the booster? Is that out of the boosters?
No, so this is Ravnica Masterpiece Edition.
Oh yeah.
It's not masterpieces like we've seen before. They aren't appearing in regular booster packs. The only way to get these Planeswalkers, and there are 8 of them in total, is to spend $250 buying them directly from Hasbro Toy Store.
But for $250 you get 8 Planeswalkers.
You get 8 Planeswalkers, and you also get 24 boosters. So the way it's actually laid out is you get 16 regular...
That's enough to draft with.
It is. It was almost like they designed that for that reason. So you get 16 regular boosters plus 8 boots, kind of part-seeded boosters, where in each of them you'll get one of these planeswalkers.
Okay, cool. So everyone basically is guaranteed a planeswalker.
Yeah.
And they build around that planeswalker.
Yeah, basically.
That's quite cool. If you've got 8 friends.
The big problem is that
it's direct through an American website.
Not therefore available to buy in the UK, Europe, or anywhere else in the world. So the only place where
they're going to be so much money on the secondary market. Especially
the eternal playable ones like Liliana the Last Hope, I imagine will be very expensive.
That's going to be gorgeous. Are
they
foil as well or not?
They are foil. And there's also Teferi, so with unique art. So
when it comes to pimping your decks, so we say in Legacy, there is no spoon. No spoon.
So here we go, we're off to start. Matt Perry playing Canyon Slough.
Yes, that does look like Canyon Slough. Slough?
Slough, Slough, Slough.
Well, in the UK we call it Slough. Or Slough.
Or Slough.
Apologies to anyone from Slough. As far as I know, you can order them from Hasbro. Alright, so you can order them to Hasbro from the EU. $50 for shipping, though.
Not even including tax.
Khalil.
So what you'll get on top of that is you will have to be charged VAT.
Yeah.
Customs charges.
Yes.
So you can expect your $250 to be more like $400 by the time you finish with shipping and customs.
Yes, that is quite a lot of money.
Yikes.
So it looks like we're blue-black. We've seen a fatal push from Tom.
Fatal push killing Walking Ballista. Or targeting Walking Ballista.
Is this a 3-mana planeswalker?
Sarkhan Fireblood.
Okay,
it
is.
Okay. So Sarkhan ticks up.
Yeah.
To you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card.
Yeah.
So it rummages to tick up. I believe it also ticks up to add 2 mana of any colour to your mana pool to spend on dragon spells.
Dragon spells. So definitely Grixis Dragons then.
And then it has the ultimate, I believe, of creates...
That's
4, 5 dragons. Yeah. You might have to double check that, but the ultimate creates a number of dragon tokens.
Okay.
Enough to kill an opponent.
Yes, Sarkhan loves his dragons. We've seen Doomfall, I believe it is, from Tom.
Exiling the Rekindling Phoenix. That's not a dragon.
That's not a dragon. It is a big flying monster that needs to be exiled, though. So that was a good choice there from Tom.
Leaving Sarkhan's Unsealing 2 copies, was that?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I didn't see all of them.
Matt now I imagine will be ticking up. Oh, so we have Chandra in his hand.
Okay, so you can just play all the planeswalkers out.
Which is something the blue-black deck can struggle with. No creatures to pressure, no real proper creatures to pressure with.
So not tribal dragons really so much as tribal planeswalkers at the moment.
So you remember last time when he played, he was on that sweet Muldrotha deck.
Yes.
And when he first started, I said last time I saw him, he was playing a red-black control kind of deck.
Yeah.
Well, this is a sort of take on that. So he's not controlling, but there are a lot of planeswalkers and a lot of big dragons. And removal spells at the cheap end.
Awesome. And what's the blue for in Grixis Dragons?
So he's splashing just for 1 card, and that is Nicobolas.
Oh, obviously, yes. The biggest dragon, the best dragon of them all.
4 mana Nicobolas that can become a very, very powerful planeswalker if you spend the 7 mana to flip it.
Excellent.
Timer.
Yes, that's a very good shout. Thank you. We've been reminded that we need to do the timer.
So, now this is going to be a problem for Tom. The only way the blue-black deck can readily answer the planeswalkers is Vraska's Contempt.
Yep. Do you think he's playing 4?
I think he's definitely playing 4 copies, but Matt's got 2 planeswalkers threatening ultimates.
Yeah, so he can only play 1 a turn.
It looks like he's adding mana here with Sarkhan.
And he probably would have Vraska's Contempted 1 already if he'd had one.
That is the...
A 6 mana dragon?
No, that's Sarkhan's Unsealing.
Okay.
Looks like. So that card is an enchantment, 4 mana.
Yep.
Whenever you cast a creature spell with power 4 or greater...
So a dragon.
You can deal 4 damage to a target of your choice.
Okay, so it fire breathes on things when you play dragons.
Whenever you cast a creature with 7 or more power...
So when you play big dragons...
It deals 7 damage to all creatures your opponents control and all planeswalkers.
So when you play a bigger dragon, it vibrates harder.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's really
vomits all
thematic.
over them. Interesting. So, Praise the Fox, I've seen people playing Spell Pierce, sideboarding it, squeeze through that Sarkhan. I suppose a lot of the time you can wait for...
The Eldest Reborn.
That's another answer for Planeswalkers.
Yeah, so it's sacrifice a creature on Planeswalker. I
And
like it a lot.
then Tom gets to reanimate it when that final law counter's put on.
Yes.
Wow. So Spell Pierce actually is very interesting here. There's a lot of big, powerful creatures, and your sort of planeswalkers. Spell Pierce has got to be quite powerful because most of the answers Tom's got are 4, 5, maybe even more mana. Spell Pierce seems to be quite a simple sideboarding choice for that.
Yeah.
Like it.
So Matt top decking a land here. Can you not put that land into play with Chandra? Or is it you have to cast the spell?
No, you have to cast with Chandra. When she ticks up, you may cast at this turn.
So that's a templating thing I think I've probably missed at some point.
So
You've got all these different templates for
Matt
how you deal with this.
Matt did miss his land drop there, but he did play Dragon's Horde, which is a 3 mana rock.
Yeah, to make dragons cheaper.
It doesn't. It taps for a mana of any colour.
Okay.
But whenever you cast a dragon, you put a counter on it. I believe it's a gold counter.
Right, okay. So
and then you can tap it and remove gold counter to draw a card.
Okay.
So it's ramp and then card draw eventually.
So there's the Vraska's Contempt. Gets that Planeswalker out of the way.
Matt was in such a leading position, but missing those land drops, he's really being punished now by Tom. That's a flip card, so that is Nicobolas, I believe.
Yes. There's only one flip card in his deck, I believe, and that is the Bolas.
Does Tom have an answer for it?
Here you go.
He's
Nico
having a
Bolas.
read.
It's 4 mana, 4/4 flyer.
It is.
With an activated ability for all the mana.
7 mana in total, wow.
Has Tom revolted this turn?
He's not revolted. I mean, he will be revolting this turn as the final counter goes onto his saga.
Oh, yes. So this returns a creature or planeswalker from his opponent's graveyard.
That it does. And this is Chandra in Matt's graveyard, so he doesn't even need the Fatal Push. He could.
It's actually in any graveyard, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, look at that.
And it's a shiny one.
It makes me want to... Yeah, and it's a shiny one. It makes me want to dig out my Eldest Reborns and put them in a deck.
I'm surprised they haven't seen that much play. They seem very powerful.
So this is a blue-black control or mid-range deck, I'm guessing.
It's looking very controlling at the moment.
Yes. Do you think he's playing Scarab God?
Oh, he must be. If you're playing blue and black, that's the main reason to build a blue-black deck, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And you've only got so much time before Scarab God rotates out as well.
This is your chance to finally squeeze in some love for the big scary monster.
Yeah. So we're going to Doomfall the Bolas. Ticking up with Chandra to make some mana. Player Tezzeret. So we're just seeing all the Planeswalkers today.
So we went from a couple of turns ago, Matt had 2 Planeswalkers in play, seeming like he was in a big lead.
Yes.
To Tom reanimating Chandra and playing a Tezzeret in the same turn. Now Tom's in a very, very strong lead. This is...
all those black 2-for-1s.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And that Sweltering Suns off the top for Matt Perry is not looking particularly strong here.
Oh, these cards are just so swingy. This is Battle Cruiser magic at its best.
I think Matt's well and truly behind now.
Yep. So needs a couple more lands, play some more dragons, battle cruisers.
What can he do here? 5 mana.
5 mana, that's
Glorybringer.
a good battle cruiser. It's not quite enough to kill a planeswalker though, is it?
No, and it dies immediately to a Chandra tick down, so... I think
You have to attack Chandra then.
I think you have to exert, otherwise the Thopter just chumps and Chandra kills it.
So that's the Sarkhan's
Unsealing trigger.
And then he's going to trigger.
He's not exerting, so the Thopter is able to jump in the way of that Glorybringer.
Mm-hmm.
But Chandra can't tick down to kill the Glorybringer at least now, so that's something. Tom doesn't... The Fatal Push doesn't do it.
Yeah.
But that Tezzeret does get to create an endless stream of chump blockers for it.
Yes, it does.
I haven't seen the rest of Tom's hand, so something big. Rescue's Content? No, Glimmer.
Glimmer of Genius. Cool. Draw some more cards.
That's a good card.
That's another question I've got for you. There's a new replacement for Glimmer of Genius coming.
It is. I like it. I like it a lot.
So, for those that don't know, it's 4 mana, 3 and a blue. It says draw 2 cards. It says the magic word instant written on it. And it's also got Jumpstart. So you can play it from your graveyard by discarding a land, I believe it is.
Yeah, it's like Retrace Light, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't do it endlessly, but it's sort of like a cross between Flashback and Retrace.
I
almost.
really like that card a lot. It's going to be so good in Control.
I like it a lot as well. So here we go with the treasure map as well, in addition to that Glimmer. Tom's in a powerful position right now. Matt only on 4 lands.
So if he draws another dragon here, that's excellent. He gets to kill another Planeswalker.
He's drawing a card with the Dragon Sword.
Okay.
Phoenix.
So he's got some Braids in his deck, I believe I saw earlier.
So
Braid could be quite nice here.
Yeah, you could kill the Chandra, but then he can always exert the Glorybringer whenever he chooses anyway to have a similar effect. He is exerting this time. Okay.
And he's going to kill the Chandra. Like you said, called it.
Back to his own graveyard where it belongs.
Yes. Love that back, thank you very much. Hands off my Chandra. He's going to play something else. Another Chandra. Third one.
Phoenix, I imagine.
Phoenix would be good. Yeah, there we go. We're rekindling Phoenix.
Oof.
And that's 4 power as well, so you get to do 4 damage with the ceiling.
That you do. So this is such a swingy game. Matt in the lead considerably. Yep. Tom considerably in the lead, and back to Matt again.
Yes.
This is Magic at its finest.
It is. Oh, I can't.
This is just a battle of the different coloured Planeswalkers, isn't it?
It is, yeah, absolutely. I'm loving it. Absolutely amazing.
He doesn't want it though. It's going to the bottom. He doesn't answer anything that Matt's got going on.
No. So you have to. So he's going to do it again.
Scrying his upkeep.
Scrying his upkeep. Make sure he doesn't get that land. There's the land, so that goes on the bottom. And then hopefully, it's the old Sensei's Divining Top play, isn't it? Where you top at the end of turn, top again, and you upkeep. Top again and again.
Thank goodness. Well, thank goodness that card was banned in Legacy.
Yeah, absolutely. Just wasted so much time.
And it made coverage miserable.
It did.
He spins the top. He spins the top again. And the thing is, combined with fetch lands, you might not do anything in your whole turn, but rearrange the top of your library about 8 different times.
Yeah. Here's a card for you. Did you ever play with Crystal Ball in Limited?
No, I didn't. What does Crystal Ball say?
Crystal Ball says Scry 2.
Yeah.
1 taps Scry 2. It's very similar to Sensei's Divine Top, but you can put the cards on the bottom. It's so much. It's like 3 mana and 1 mana tap Scry 2. It's worse than Sensei's Divine Top. But
what makes the top so powerful was the ability to draw the top card at instant speed and dump the top back on top.
And its interaction with counterbalance.
Of course. So the fact that...
So more dragons, yet more dragons, and he's going to...
That's a demanding dragon.
That is a demanding dragon. He'll shoot things as well. How big is that demanding dragon?
It's a 5/5 for 5 mana.
Okay, so that can kill...
When it enters the battlefield, Tom has a choice to either sacrifice a creature... or take 5 damage.
So he's taking 5, and then he's dealing 5 with the unsealing. So you said that Tom was looking like he was winning a moment ago.
A minute ago he really was. And now Matt is back to the position he was at the very start of the game.
Absolutely.
First result, Ben Campsell 1-2-1.
Ben Campsell 1-2-1. Do we know what Ben's playing?
Don't. Do you want me to find out?
It's up to you if you want.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So Ben beats Sam Cook.
Oof. Sensei's top did nothing wrong. It's all those horrible players that were using top with counterbalance that did something wrong.
Blue-red wizards?
Okay, Ben's on blue-red wizards. Yes, I think we talked about this.
We did. He joined us. He joined Sam and I in the stream on Monday.
Oh yeah.
He was keen for me to build an Is It Wizards deck because he wants to see the way that I would build it. That's something we're going to have to do, I think, on Monday. I will build Is It Wizards on...
Is it worth waiting for the Is It Guild to come out as well? So that looks like a win for Matt Perry to me.
A pretty decisive win towards the end there. As they say, screw bleats flood, don't they? And Tom had all the lands in the world, and Matt had very few until he won.
Absolutely. It looked so. It was so swingy, back and forth, and then Matt just the value of that Sarkhan's Unsealing plus all the 4-mana giant monsters. That sort of really sealed the game away.
Absolutely. It was the chump blockers are only so good. The thing is, Matt kept drawing 4 power creatures off the top again and again and again, meaning that he was just able to shoot those planeswalkers down through any blockers he had. So that shows the power. And
so some
Matt showing Duresses
and whatever it is, the compass thing.
Spyglass. Sorcerer Spyglass,
which looks at your opponent's hand and locks something down to stop it from having any activated abilities. That seems quite good against Tom's deck of Tezzeret's and maybe Scarab Gods, we don't know.
Planeswalkers and big creatures with activated ability seems very powerful. Now that card, seeing a lot of play in Modern and Legacy.
Did you see that it was banned in Brawl a while back? That format that everyone plays.
Because it can name commanders.
Because, you just get to go, name your commander. That's just no fun now. But yes, anyway, it's being played in Modern.
And Legacy.
And Legacy, because it gets round...
Because it's a Pithing Needle you can play through a Chalice on one.
Yes.
So the decks that are trying to turn one Chalice...
Yeah, and then play a bunch of Planeswalkers.
Are using that card instead of Pithing Needle, because they can cast it through their own Chalice.
Excellent. And you can also play against those decks to stop their Planeswalkers going through.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's one of the rare circumstances when stuff costing more mana is a benefit. A very similar effect to Pithing Needle.
Yes.
Arguably, looking at the hand...
And he's taking out some...
Sweltering Suns, looks like it.
So dealing 3 damage to all creatures when your opponent's not playing many creatures, it looks like he's making massive, very big...
2 Duresses and a Spyglass for Matt.
Cool.
Very, very kindly showing us his hand.
Thank you, Matt. Much appreciated.
It's a reasonably straightforward sideboard for Matt. Take out the dead board wipes, bring in the useful.
Now, if I'm Tom Love, I'd like to hope that he would have some Essence Scatters in his sideboard.
Essence Scatter. He probably has some Essence Scatters in the main. Didn't see any.
No, that's true. Doomfall seems quite good. Have you seen the new discard spell from Return to Ravnica? Return to Ravnica.
I haven't.
Guild to Ravnica. So it's something like Never Happened. Is the name of this spell.
So Praise the Fox. The Grixis Controller. So are you talking about Grixis Control in Legacy? Playing it a copy in the main. Because I've not seen that. I was. If it is Legacy you're referring to, or is it standard Grixis Control? There you go, so... No, standard, okay. No, that's absolutely fine. I can easily see the reason to main 1 copy.
Yeah.
I can't think of that many decks where there's a card you wouldn't want...
I had a main deck Pithing Needle in my Legacy Reanimated deck. Because I lost to Caracas so hard. So yeah, it has been known. So Never Happened, the replacement for Doomfall. Target opponent reveals their hand. You can choose a non-land card from that player's hand and exile it for 3 mana.
But is there not a...
But Doomfall's got the added mode of taking a creature out of play.
Plus there's a different discard spell, isn't there, now in this set? We've got an uncommon one that's very similar to Transgress the Mind, which is purely... Yeah. Target opponent reveals their hand and you discard a card from it, I believe.
Sounds good to me.
I say, well, Transgress the Mind saw a lot of play when it was in standards.
Yep.
And that had the drawback. I mean, yes, it exiled something, but it had the drawback of not being able to hit things of a small converted mana cost.
Absolutely, that seems pretty powerful.
So.
But
this does have the... I believe that card has the downside of costing blue-black.
Oh, right, yes. Awesome. Have you seen the new Guild Leaders?
I have.
Right, I really like Lazav.
So here we go.
Oh, sorry. We're going to go back to the game and stop talking about the new set. So Tom's made a Glint Sleeve Cypher now.
Glint Sleeve, gaining an energy. This is probably one of his better cards against Matt. Matt, who's taken out his sweepers for little creatures.
Yeah, it's going to provide some incremental, recurring card advantage.
Unless this isn't a braid.
Unless this isn't a braid, which We think he left in.
Oof.
Oh, Walking Blister.
Just
Excellent.
as good.
Yes. Happy to see that card.
And you see he immediately throws the ballista towards the Glintleaf Siphoner.
Can't let that get out of hand.
Turns out Dark Confidant is a good card.
It's better than Dark Confidant. It draws you, what, a card every other turn, unless you're gaining energy from some other source.
Combined with Glimmer of Genius,
And it only costs you 1 life as well.
True.
I really do enjoy that deck in my green-black energy deck.
Yes.
So there we go, an Aether Hub. Just passes the turn back. So we're up to 2 mana, 2 energy for, and then a Khan for Tom. So Khan's going to come into play. I imagine he's probably going to tick it up. Oh no, he's made a construct. This deck seems to be playing
Interesting.
Thopters, Khans, constructs.
There's a lot of artifacts in
There's a lot of artifact synergies in here, right? I like it, it's cool.
So this isn't your typical kind of blue-black control deck. This is more
Like
of a...
blue-black tokens kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, blue-black Super Friends, tokens, artifact matters. So
Yeah, he's also playing Aether Hub in his deck, so he might be playing some energy sub-theme as well.
He's got Glimmer of Genius, we
And
saw that in the game
Oh
one.
yeah, Glimmer of Genius. We've seen the...
Even if it just works with Glintleaf Siphoner,
Yeah.
an Aether Hub is essentially an extra card.
Do you think it's a Dynavolt Tower deck?
I don't think it's a Dynavolt Tower deck. There's not enough.
Not that we've seen
instance
Dynavolt
sorceries.
Tower in quite some time in Standard.
I remember playing Dynavolt Tower Turbo Fog
Oh yes!
with Fevered Visions.
Yeah, no,
I
you're
wish I'd
such
seen
a
that
tedious monster. So that looks like a creature, that's probably a giant dragon.
The glare is just cutting off the artwork from that card, so I can't really see what it is. 4 mana, doesn't have haste.
It looks like a legend. It might be a legendary creature from the line of text on the creature type.
It's not a Lathliss because that's 6 mana. I can't see what card that is. Perhaps Praise the Fox knows. It looks like Khan's just taking the value where he can, ticking down a couple of big construct tokens.
Now we've got the standard Greed.
Argyl's Bloodfast is a very good card.
Aragorn's Bloodfast, that's the card. Yep, a very powerful card.
Matt picking up a...
Especially against some sort of mid-range deck. You just want to get a bit more advantage out.
Ah, you're absolutely right. The 4/4 dragon that we could kick for another 4/4 token.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, the token is also legendary.
Okay. So you can't stack them up.
No, so they really are dead in multiples, unfortunately. Oof.
And more dragons. Who'd have thought it?
Glorybringer.
Excellent.
Those construct tokens not looking strong in the face of Glorybringer.
Absolutely not. So Tom, they're probably going to lose his... there we go.
So the name of that kicker dragon, I believe, is Verix Bladewing.
Oh, right. Okay, so a Blade Wing.
4 mana, 4/4 flyer. You can kick it for another 4 mana, I believe, and that creates a 4/4
Cool.
token.
Awesome. Thanks, Rob, for letting us know it's a kicker dragon. Much appreciated.
So what have we got here? So Microchip 7, is that Rob, is it?
Microchip T is indeed Rob. One of our friends.
Welcome to the stream, Rob.
Hello and welcome. I believe Rob is on a train at the moment.
Is he? Rob's travelling on to go on holiday, visit his
I believe
family?
he's on holiday with the family at the moment.
Fantastic. Well, enjoy.
Absolutely.
I'm also travelling down south tomorrow for a modern PPTQ at Darkster in London.
Oh, really? Yeah. What are you going to be playing in Modern?
Probably Red Green Eldrazi if I can find another Cavern of Souls.
Okay.
Otherwise, I might switch to Jeskai.
Sounds good.
Oof. Tom's taking for 1 here. I mean, you might as well. Every threat the Matt's got flying, so...
Yeah, like, there's, like if you're not going to be blocking with it, probably don't want to be attacking with it.
No.
No, sorry, you probably want to be attacking with it, sorry. And if you're not going to be blocking with it, you definitely want to be attacking with it.
I'm not liking Tom's position.
He's a bit behind here, so duress. Target his hand, strip something out of it. I don't know. He's got 4 mana open, so 2 Vraska's Contempt and a Khan.
I like.
I think I would have taken a Vraska's Contempt here. Khan doesn't seem like it's doing very much, and Vraska's Contempt is going to
I think
destroy your dragons.
The normal temptation with discard is to take the the card that they don't have multiples of.
Yeah.
But Vraska's Contempt is such a powerful effect and deals with everything you've got on the board there.
When you're Matt, you're playing one big spell a turn. And
Thanks,
when you're
Rob.
Tom just gets to answer that one big spell a turn with one big removal spell a turn and gain some life.
And gaining advantage with the Bloodfast in the meantime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially when you know you've got other threats like Phoenix coming down. Maybe he's just hoping to overwhelm the Vraska's Contempt. If he's got enough threats,
yeah.
He might not care about 2 clunky removal spells.
It does definitely depend on the consistency of Matt's hand.
Jeskai is love, Jeskai is life. I do like Jeskai. I like Jeskai because I love Lightning Helix. Unfortunately, I think Blue-White might be a little bit stronger in Modern at the moment.
I haven't really looked at Modern for a while, to be honest. At the moment, I've got a Jeskai control deck.
Yeah.
I took apart my my Grizzlebrand Reanimator deck to build Reanimator in Legacy. Which is a shame because that Modern deck was amazing.
So Tom, not a great deal going on. Last time we saw his hand,
He had 2 lands and a Vraska's Contempt.
but he does have access to that Bloodfast. Obviously, he can draw himself loads of cards.
Yes, and he's got access to the... So he can kill one of these creatures, gain 2 lives, so he's only technically taking 2 damage this turn.
Yeah.
So he's... Yeah, there we go. That's interesting. Do you think that's what you would have chosen? I mean, it does deal with any threats that Tom might play out. It's a piece of removal as well as a giant monster.
I think I probably would have taken the Glorybringer. Phoenix, you've got maybe a couple of other ways to answer it.
But the Phoenix is so hard to deal with. Like, Tom can Fatal Push it with the Revolt, because it's only 4 mana.
True.
But then it's like to come back from
But
there.
nothing but Vraska's Contempt answers the Glorybringer from the Blue-Black's deck. So unless he's playing something like Cast Down, which isn't a very powerful card at the moment, there's just too many legendary creatures about.
A Braid and an Artifact. Can't see what the artifact is.
Looks like a Dragon's Horde.
Okay.
So that's the mana rock we were talking about.
So I think you give Matt the Dragon's Sword here. Oh no, he's going to give him the Braid. Maybe there's not many targets for a Braid to hit.
So Dragon's Horde going under the Khan. I suppose we've seen Matt miss a land drop or 2,
Yeah,
so maybe he's trying to cut him off, getting up some of the bigger, more frightening dragons.
But Matt has the land anyway.
He does have the land. And it's a coloured source.
Yes.
He's got three
Colourless lands.
3 colourless lands. I mean, I know the hub can tap for any colour, but only if you've got the
Only
energy.
once. It's Tendo Ice Bridge at this point.
It really is. And I don't think Matt's running any other energy synergies, so it really is a Tendo Ice Bridge there.
Do we have a result, John?
Josh Love lost 2-0.
Justin won 2-0. Okay, cool. Thank you
Well
very
done
much.
to Justin. So
Good job. Walk the plank. Yes, walk the plank does indeed kill it.
the problem is a lot of those cards I don't imagine Tom will be playing because Walk the Plank being sorcery,
Yeah.
Doomfall. Yes,
He is playing Doomfall.
He is playing Doomfall. That is, but then Doomfall would kill either of those creatures. I can't imagine he's still playing if he had it in his deck. Moment of Craving.
I miss Damnation at moments like this.
Have you seen the new Damnation?
Oh, it's not quite Damnation.
It's not quite Damnation.
It's destroy all creatures with converted mana cost 3 or less.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Wouldn't do anything here, but maybe it's a card that Matt might be interested in.
Yeah, maybe. Because he obviously gets to be a little bit one-sided.
This is how Tom gets value. Torrential Gearhulk.
Oh, yes. Vraska's Contempt back, flashback.
And yeah, Camille, the Solemnity Unlife combo. There's a couple of ways to build that in Modern. My favourite one is the mono-white prison deck. And kind of Solemnity, Unlife, you play Ghostly Prisons, Sphere of Safeties, you play Ruined Halo.
See, my favourite Phyrexian in Unlife combo, I think it's just Ad Nauseam, where you get to Angel's Grace it and just get on with your game.
No, that's combo. We like value.
Oh, value.
And do you know how that mono white prison deck wins?
Modern isn't a format where value is important. Like, Modern is a format where you just get them dead and play the most obnoxious.
Yeah, but then if your opponent plays Ruined Halo,
combo.
naming Lightning Storm, then what?
Then you have to find some other way to kill them.
Yeah, which I suppose would be Lab Maniac, but that deck plays Lab Maniac because it's extra win con.
Okay,
You
brilliant.
draw your whole deck with,
Yep.
and then you've got
Yep.
your. Then you've got your Simian Spirit Guides to then put the Lab Maniac
And your
into play.
Manamorphose and all this sort of
Yep.
stuff, yeah. Yes.
No, but
So yeah, my favourite Phyrexian Unlife deck is I
Ad
think
Nauseam.
Ad Nauseam in Modern.
No, I played against someone with the mono white prison deck. Their win condition, I believe, was 1 copy of Entreat the Angels.
Nice. So 5 plus construct, that's 7 damage. It's going to kill a Khan, or maybe it's not going to kill a Khan. A Braid. Oh yes, we gave him the Braid earlier as well. So
Tom
he's
did
seen
give him
this.
the braid. I suppose Khan takes 1 point of damage.
Torrential Gearhulk is an artifact.
It is, so you can just smash that. What's Tom looking for now? I suppose another Torrential Gearhulk would be pretty tasty right now.
Yes, and he's got it.
Because of course you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Wow. And the key thing is that essentially it says exile target permanent, non-land permanent, and or creature planeswalker. Gain 2 life, but that 2 life means draw a card with the Bloodfast.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And Matt does deal damage in very big chunks, but Tom's not under a huge amount of pressure right now, is he?
No, Matt's only got this dragon in play.
Phoenix coming back.
Absolutely.
Token.
Sorry, there's the token, isn't it, that's making the Phoenix come back.
It is. Ooh,
Another Braid off the top.
Glorybringer. I think that was the full-out
Was
game
it
state promo.
Glorybringer.
Sam Cook is dropping.
Sam Cook, okay.
Yeah, you've already result by
Yeah,
dropping that.
that's cool. Thank you very much.
So, what can Tom find here? He's already gone Vraska's Contempt, Vraska's Contempt, Gearhulk Vraska's Contempt, Gearhulk Vraska's Contempt. So he's cast 4 Vraska's Contempts, I believe, now.
Well,
And-
he's got another 2 left in his deck, plus another 2 Gearhulks, so he's only got 4 left to go.
Oh, Matt Perry just drawing big dragon after big dragon here.
That does seem to be what the deck wants to be doing.
I mean, it is a very good way to overpower your opponent's defences. Just play such ginormous creatures that Vraska's Contempt is
Can
the
that
only way
attack?
to answer.
Did it come into play this turn?
No, so when it comes back from the graveyard, it
Okay.
comes back in with haste. So
Oh, excellent.
it can attack this turn. It doesn't have haste when it first comes down, but when you kill it and it
Cool.
comes back from the token, it does.
Okay, so
It's Bloodfast. Bit of a liability now at this point in the game. He's drained a lot of his own life away to draw cards.
counting mana up. Degree of Hailfire.
Absolutely, Torment of Hailfire now
Torment of
would be
Hailfire, yeah, that's the
horrifying from that.
No, we're another Vraska's Contempt.
Number 3.
And an Eldest Reborn.
Ooh,
It's just all the 1-for-1s.
that's going to be significantly more than a 1-for-1 very shortly.
Oh yes, it's going to be excellent.
What do you think he's going to bring back?
A Giant Dragon. Or if he's...
The problem is, Vraska's Contempt has exiled a lot of the big threats.
yes. There's a Chandra.
It was another target you need Vraska's Contempt for. Although having a Gearhulk in place certainly helps pressure that.
What's the dragon on the on the top of the screen with the dice on it? Is that...
That appears to be a Lathless.
Okay. Is that suspended or something?
No. I don't know why there is a Lathless up there with 5 with a dice on top of it. Matt playing Chandra here. Perhaps we can find out why there's Matt taking up Chandra for mana to play another Walking Blister. 4 Walking Blister this time. I suppose it does protect your Chandra for a turn, throwing itself into the Gearhulk. Now, I think the dice on that list is irrelevant. I believe that might just be a card that's
Right,
in
okay.
that sideboard.
Yep.
Appears to be interacting in no way to the game whatsoever. And what have we got here? It's just cycling land for Tom.
Seems to be drawing his way through his deck quite rapidly.
Yeah, who are you favouring at the moment? Both seem to have a lot going on.
I think Tom might be in slightly better situation here.
The Eldest Reborn does get back, say, the Glorybringer in the graveyard. Which will happen very shortly. Whew. And another powerful Planeswalker for him. So, yeah, Tom's in a very, very, very good position now.
Yeah. Oh, so he gets a glimpse of his cycle. Seems good.
And he's going to go up to 4 energy with that, so he's got
Yeah.
card draw for another few turns at least.
But he's running out of life.
He is, but when he drops below 5 life, that Bloodfast can flip. And I believe
That's
this
a lot
is-
of mana.
This is Matt kicking a Verix Flamewing, I believe.
And that's game.
Was that a Banefire?
It might have been... it's not a creature.
It's
It
not
might have been a
creature.
Banefire.
I-
Yes.
I believe Matt Perry just Banefired his opponent out of the game.
Excellent.
Sam
Good old-
points.
Yep.
Speed Joseph Guilty 2-1.
Okay, thank you very much. Cheers.
Sam Points is repeating his efforts from last week, where he went undefeated all the way to the final and won with Mono Red Aggro, the same deck he's playing tonight. So,
Well done to Matt there, playing his Grixis Dragons tribal deck.
wow.
Happy to see that.
Kind of, yeah, dragons, some significant control elements.
Yeah. Well, when all your dragons, when all your creatures are going to cost like 4 or more mana.
Yeah, and Sarkhan's on the Ceiling provides a lot of...
A hell of a lot of value, absolutely.
Blue,
do you
black,
want to be playing the not the Furnace World, but the Dragon Egg in your deck? 'Cause that is a dragon.
No, I don't think so. So, it's not a dragon on the front side, is it? So
No,
it
I
doesn't
don't believe
trigger... And it's the Dragon Egg's small, so it wouldn't trigger the Sarkhan's on the Ceiling either. I
It's
think...
a shame there's no like 2 mana creatures that make mana for dragons or anything like that in standard at the moment.
Yeah, Sarkhan's the closest you get. 3 mana, and he creates mana for dragons.
We've
but
seen creatures previously, haven't we? The 2 and 3 mana creatures that make dragons cost 1 less.
We have. Currently, I don't believe there is one in the standard.
No.
But even then, I think I'd prefer, say, Sarkhan to something like that. The Planeswalker is harder to deal with than
Yes.
a creature, and has that ultimate threatening. I think Matt did very well there. The deck seemed to play to the blue-black's weaknesses. So,
Yeah.
blue-black not particularly well known for dealing with enchantments.
No.
Like Sarkhan's on the Ceiling is. I don't think throughout that entire game, short of duressing or doomfalling it away, I don't think Tom had any way to interact with an enchantment, did he?
No, I don't think so. So Tom might have been playing not Into the Royal, but the other one. Is it Blink of an Eye?
Blink of an Eye, yes.
Blink of an Eye would deal with enchantments.
Temporarily.
Yes, only for a little bit. So he might have been. It looked like blue was more of a splash there.
Oliver Pass lost 2-0.
Okay, thank you very much.
Interesting,
So Cedric
seeing,
there winning 2-0.
interesting here as well. We're seeing 2 decks with blue in them.
Yes.
2 very controlling decks.
Yes.
Didn't see a single counter spell, I don't think, there, did we?
No, we didn't. It was the control was more just kill spells.
Yeah,
rather
absolutely.
Than counter magic. Maybe they boarded their counter magic out, and also discard. We saw some discard as well. So we saw duress, we saw doomfall.
Ah, there we go. So Rob helpfully pointing out that the Lathless dice was silver counters.
Okay, so Lathas had been exiled to the Khan. The Khan had been taken away at some point. So.
Yes, indeed. So, obviously, left to one side on purpose because future Khans can still bring those cards back.
Yeah.
So, well pointed out there by Rob. Thank you
We've
for
got
that.
Phil in the chat. Evening, Phil.
Evening, Phil. Nice to see you.
Absolutely. Welcome along.
Good night tonight. currently Sandpoint's doing a repeat of last week.
Yeah, I think we've got 10 players for standard tonight.
I believe we might even have 12.
12, actually, yes, I believe so. Yeah, 12. So we've got 4 rounds.
You got Matt's result 2-0?
Yes, we have Matt's
We have-
result 2-0.
How many are you waiting for?
Matt Bain firing for the win there.
Yeah, we're waiting for Alex and Dan.
We didn't see that coming. It was unexpected, the Bain fire.
Do you want to talk to?
It was very good.
If I
Yeah.
s- If I step out.
So we're just going to get Matt in here to talk us through his play there at the end. I think it was a very close game at one point. The lead just.
Jonathan.
Some deck tech.
Dan.
Yeah, do you want to come join us?
He lost 2-1.
Okay. So Alex Pegler there winning 2-1. So do you want to take us through the deck a little bit? So why did you want to build it?
So ever since I started Magic in M14, just love dragons. If I see a dragon, I want to play a dragon.
Absolutely.
And as you know, I'm rotating between the Soul Tide deck, which is just value, and this, which is just fun.
And that's the Muldrotha one you played last week.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So got 3 Planeswalkers. Sorry, that's a lie. 3 Chandras. Basically for the ramp.
Yes.
I'm playing 2 of the Sarkans.
Which is also ramp for dragons.
Which is ramp for dragons, yeah. So Sarkhan Fireblood.
Absolutely.
Then I'm not worried about the early game. So if I'm coming up against aggro decks, I'm main boarded 2 Sweltering Suns. So things like the red aggro decks, black red aggro decks. I'm trying to control their game early. I played blue red wizards. Managed to control the game early, control the board state.
We saw some braids as well as spot removal for the early turns.
Plenty of spot removal. Then the rest of it's just dragon synergy. So I think there's 2 Sarkans on ceilings just for the fun of it.
Which we saw take down the first game.
Yeah. Hard to deal with. And then Dragon's Horde is just massively synergistic, drawing cards, making mana, awesome. And then I've got the dragons for finishers, but they don't always get it done. Because would you believe, George, that people play spot removal and kill big dragons on site?
That last game, I think we saw 5 copies of Rusted Contempt.
He gained 10 life on that.
Surprised he didn't just start making discard one out of his hand the first time round.
I thought the Khan was more a threat at that point. I knew he had to. I knew I was going to draw into things that I would overcome those 2. I always forget about Torrential Gearhulk. I always forget about it. But I worked on the principle that...
but a Braid being a nice easy way to take that down as well.
Yeah, Braid's nice to tear it down. Rekindling Phoenix. If he's using it on anything other than Kindling Phoenix, Kindling Phoenix is going to, take over the game for me at some point.
Well, exactly, because you need to save the XR removal mainly for the Phoenix, because it can come back against regular kill spells.
Yeah, and then for I can't do it with creatures, finishers. Obviously, we've got Walking Blister, and you saw the cheeky little 2 off Banefires just to close out the game.
Which finished the game against Tom, and obviously can't even be countered.
Well, and that's the thing, right? So many people here are playing Negate, and I get sick of seeing Negate, so Banefire is thing. And I play Banefire in a mono green devotion deck as well.
Wow, okay.
So yeah, I like Banefire.
So other than Bolus, do you have any blue cards in the 75 at all?
No, the blue is purely there for Bolus. The black in the sideboard, I've got things like Lost Legacy, Dispossess. I think there might be some Fatal Pushes.
Have you managed to flip a Bolus yet?
I have managed to flip a Bolus.
Yeah,
but a few weeks ago. But he tends not to live long enough. People kill him on sight.
Which they should, but then that clears the way for some of the other big dragons as well. So
yeah. And if I was streamlining this deck, I think Bolus would come out and I'd pretty much make it mono red or red black.
Yeah.
But he's fun. Yeah,
He's too cool.
He's too cool. Yeah, absolutely, he's too cool. So.
And he's a built-in 2-for-1. You get to make your opponent discard, and then they have to find an answer for it. I think he's fantastic.
What could be better?
I think Bolus is brilliant.
Cool.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Matt. That was brilliant.
Cheers, man.
Good luck in the rest of it.
Oh, yeah. You playing tomorrow? You're doing games today?
I'm not. I'm actually going to be in London for PPTQ, modern PPTQ at Darksphere. So
All right. Cool.
Wish me luck.
I don't know what to play. I don't know what to play this or. Oh yeah, but good luck. Sorry, yeah, I was
Thank
being
you,
very self-centered. Yeah, good luck tomorrow.
No,
and,
thank you.
I'm not sure whether to play this or Moldrova. They're both pretty sweet.
They are both pretty sweet. I think we both have a preference for Moldrova, though.
I
We
would
love
say
that deck.
Moldrova, I like that deck a
Or
lot.
mono green aggro is another possibility.
Yeah,
but I've not played it. It's literally been picking up. And playing
Smashy.
Awesome.
Cool. Awesome, thank you very much. So who do we want for the next round?
Right, so this is round 3.
So
In the chat, we currently have these individual. Oh, are we able to share the player list?
I don't know.
I don't think we can. So, what we have out in the room that we haven't yet seen is we have some Godfarer's Gift, we have some Is It Wizards, there is some Black-White Angel decks, there is a... We've seen one mono-red Keld deck, but there is another mono-red Keld deck out there. Does anyone have a preference?
I know what I'd like to see.
What would you like to see?
I'd like to see some Is It Wizards.
Would you? I think I'd quite like to see some Is It Wizards as well. So
Okay.
we'll give you just a couple of minutes
That means we get Tom back on camera
to
as well.
decide. Do we? We get Tom back on camera.
Tom and Ben, I believe. Ben is playing Is It Wizards.
That sounds good to me.
Cool. Awesome. I shall just go get that sorted out.
Let's get Ben and Tom on. We're going to see some Is It Wizards. And then for the last round, I think we're just going to see the top table because I think we want to see who actually wins the overall FNM. I think it's probably the most important thing.
Everyone's just more interested in the nonsense.
Absolutely. Well, we love nonsense, but
exactly.
there has to be an end result to the nonsense.
I agree.
Because there's nothing better than winning with some absolute rubbish that you put together yourself. And my first FNM I ever won was with the Black-Red Aggro, Eldrazi Aggro deck I built back in Oath of the Gatewatch.
Yep.
And it was absolutely glorious. First FNM I ever won, I was just discussing. It was
So what was your Black-Red Eldrazi? It was a Black-Red Eldrazi, you said?
Black-Red.
Okay.
So it had...
So that was the... They would have been playing the thing that this made you... Oh, it was the mechanic that takes cards from exile and puts them to graveyards.
No, it wasn't playing that actually. So the first, the kind of key cards which you obviously expect in any Eldrazi aggro deck, Thought-Knot Seer, Reality Smasher.
Okay.
But it also had the red. The red splash was for Eldrazi Obligator, steal your opponent's creatures. It had black for removal spells like Grasp of Darkness.
Okay, yeah.
And finally, the black was also for, there was a 1-drop Eldrazi. There was a 2/1 for 1 mana that you lost a life at your upkeep unless you controlled another Eldrazi. And I just turned creatures sideways and smashed face.
Nice.
Glorious.
Excellent. And that won FNM.
It did win an FNM. It won a 24-man FNM.
24? Wow.
I beat some of the big decks at the time, including Collected Company.
Okay.
Which I was very impressed with.
Right. Ben and Tom had actually started playing.
Yes.
Do you want them to start from fresh?
I don't mind. It's up to them. Do you want to start?
It looks like we can play with...
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm so sorry. So they had
Don't
already
get
started
tired.
playing. So
Ben and Tom had started playing, but they've decided to very generously come back over to our feature match area to play for us. So we've got Is It Wizards against what looks to be another blue-black... Oh, it's Tom
it's
again.
Tom again. So he's playing the same deck.
The same blue-black control deck he was on just a moment ago. So the Is It Wizards deck we haven't seen yet, but it's a very fast aggro tempo deck.
That's cool.
A lot of burn spells to trigger
Some
prowess,
flying monsters.
some flying and ground wizards,
Okay.
and then some permission, like the wizard's counterspell.
And the Wizard's Lightning
And
Bolts.
this is lightning bolts.
So you get to play both Counterspell and Lightning Bolt in your standard deck.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So this is the Ashanu Pyromancer. It's a Goblin Piker. It's a 2/1 for 2 mana.
Yeah.
When it enters the battlefield, you deal 2 damage to an opponent.
Okay.
So a good way to start off. A little bit of reach there
That's
attached to
quite
body.
aggressive.
So what he did there was Snapcaster for shock.
For 2 mana.
Yeah.
And we'll throw a removal spell at it in the form of Walking Ballista.
Yes, a good way to take down the 1 toughness creature. So that was Ben drawing an Adeliz off the top, but he doesn't have any lands. Now, are you using the opt here to dig for land, or would you be playing out more creatures for 2 mana?
I think I would. You've got to get on board. You've got to get some wizards on board to make your spells work.
Ben's thinking hard about that, but it couldn't have been a land, otherwise he would have snap kept, I imagine.
Maybe it was one of his big payoff cards.
So he didn't find the land, but he did manage to find a 1-drop, so at least he's using all his mana here and digging for land.
So that's going to test me. I have no clue.
So that is a Gitu Lava Runner, 1/2 for 1 mana.
Okay.
Gets +1 and 0 if you have 2 instants of sorceries in the graveyard.
I have a feeling like this Wizards deck is really going to test me. For what cards are what. Not that I'm very good at it anyway.
I'm amazed that I remember them. I've
obviously played a lot more Ixalan Limited than I have. I know that card. That's Khan.
That is Khan, creating a 2/2 construct thanks to that treasure map.
That's pretty awesome.
Going to provide a roadblock, but I think we've seen a Wizard's Lightning in Ben's hand.
Oh no, we get some land as well. So happy with that. Mountain. Thank you very much, Ben, for showing us your hand.
Now he's got Wizard's Lightning. There's an Adeliz in that hand.
Yeah.
It looks like Lightning Bolt might be coming in.
Yep, Lightning Bolt your Khan.
Which turns on the Goblin Guide.
Oh, yes.
Makes it a 2/2 rather than a 1/2.
Yep.
Oh, and Shock
and
as well.
Shock. Just get them all.
Clear out the board. I think Ben's looking to be as aggressive as possible, so kill the cards that can provide advantage like Khan.
Yeah.
And hopefully close out the game with some powerful...
So what's that blue-red card in his hand?
So that is Adeliz the Cinderwind.
Okay.
It is a 2/2 flyer.
Yep.
For 1, a red and a blue.
Yep.
What it says is whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, wizards you control get +1/+1.
Ooh, a Wizard Lord.
It is a Wizard Lord, so it triggers... so it's almost prowess, but it triggers it on all your wizards, including her.
So, is wizards, our wizards...
Yes.
The best tribe in Magic?
Oh, absolutely. Without a shadow of doubt, you have Snapcaster Mage.
Is that because the company that makes it is called Wizards?
So that was Tom using a Doomfall, exiling a Lava Run out of Ben's hand.
Okay.
So Ben then...
I think he might have been exiling the one in play.
Oh, exiling the one in play, absolutely. My apologies, you're right.
Haste you for 2.
Absolutely. A keyword I forgot off that, Adeliz, also has haste.
Also has haste.
Indeed. So, Phil, the people are playing as Ben and Tom at the moment. Tom on blue-black control, Ben on Is It Wizards. But the problem is Tom has now found his way into the late game, so he's able to get...
the mid to late
game.
The
mid game. But the Vraska's Contempt... Ooh, Gutter Snipe.
Nice. Gutter Snipe's an excellent wizard.
It is. A goblin wizard, is it not?
I believe so, yes.
But he's Pyromancering again. I think he's going to hold up, what is this, lightning? Wizard's Lightning?
Don't know. Oh, right, okay. I couldn't tell you.
No, so I believe that is Warlords Fury would be I believe what that card is. A single red instant, creatures you control gain first strike till end of turn, draw a card.
Okay. Do you think he was just digging for a land there?
I think he was digging for a land there. I think he was just going to use his mana as best as possible.
Tom's got a lot of mana there.
Yeah, so he's managed to flip this treasure map, so that brings with it 3 treasures along with the land itself. So he ramps not just 1 card in the land, but then 3 lotus petals, if you like, come down with it.
Yeah. Ether Hub Harvester, so he's definitely playing energy here.
It's a very good blocker if he can find something to crew it with.
So he's got 3 mana available. He could make a... Okay, there we go.
A Walking Blister.
A Walking Blister, that'll do the job.
Now, I think Ben probably wants to see something like an Abrade now.
I think Ben probably wants to see something like a...
Well, the land at least lets him start running his hand out. Nothing in his hand's currently dealing with that Ether Sphere Harvester, which is going to gain Tom a lot of life over the course of many turns.
Some synergy obviously happening here.
So I believe that card, when it enters the battlefield, your opponent loses life equal to the number of
wizards.
I believe so. I can't remember the name of that card, I'm afraid. So, Eldest Reborn forcing Ben to sack one of his creatures, choosing the Pyromancer.
Okay.
Problem is now Ben does not want to see as many as 5 lands.
No, Tom's definitely got a lot of permanence in play there.
Another Pyromancer dealing 2 more. I mean, at the end of the day, Tom's deck doesn't have a huge amount of ways to gain life.
It's just got the... Oh, it's got the Aether Sphere Harvester.
It does.
That can gain lifelink for energy.
Ouch. So, Ben attacking into that Harvester, unfortunately, losing a creature, Tom getting some life, that's unfortunate for him. He's got 2 Gutter Snipes in hand. I mean, I can see a way where Ben wins this. Draw a land off the top this turn, run out 2 Gutter Snipes, then start drawing some Lightning Strikes, Wizard's Lightnings off the top.
Or even Gutter Snipe into Tormenting Voice if he's got that.
Yes.
Or Cathartic Reunion or something.
I don't think the deck... It definitely doesn't run Cathartic Reunion. I don't know if it runs any copies of Tormenting Voice.
But probably Charter Course more likely to be played in that deck.
Charter Course could very well be likely. So this is Khan now ticking up. Giving Tom the island.
Discussing which card we're going to have. Yeah. Giving Tom the island is absolutely the correct choice here. Don't want him to have quite so much energy.
Yeah, essentially the Ether Hub gives him 3 life almost, because it gives 1 more activation of the Ether Sphere Harvester's lifelink ability. So I believe this was an opt, so Gutter Snipe into opt's not looking horrific.
No, it's pretty good. I like it. So do the thing.
There's the opt.
Opt, yep, so 2 damage, we opt. Alright, okay, response to the opt is to kill the Gutter Snipe.
Sack it, getting the Revolt Trigger, the treasure, wow.
He likes that card, so we're going to keep that one.
It does mean that... so he kept another opt. Would have been nicer to chain those with the Gutter Snipe in play.
It would have been absolutely lovely to chain those with it. He's got another Gutter Snipe in hand.
He does, but he's then needs to find ways to trigger it.
And do you think you would have held that second opt then?
I think I would have. With the Fatal Push responding to the first trigger, I would have held the opt, I think, for the following turn, so you guarantee yourself 2 more damage out of it.
Yeah.
You've got enough lands now, and you're not digging for anything specific. You just need to get as much damage across as possible, so I probably would have held it, but...
Is Tom with the Eldest Reborn getting creature back?
It looks like it. Now, the joy for Ben, at least, is this Wizards deck is very, very synergistic.
Yeah.
So nothing that Tom can bring back from Ben's graveyard looks particularly exciting from Tom's side.
Not on its own.
No.
But with the rest of it, it's going to be...
That construct looking reasonably big now with the amount of artifacts he's got.
3/3. It's 4/4.
Oof. And that is 2 more energy.
Yeah.
Coming across, gaining some life.
So 7 damage.
This is not looking great for Ben. I think the way to win this is he has to drop the Gutter Snipe, chain spell after spell after spell.
He doesn't look like he's got the Gutter Snipe in hand at the moment, actually.
I see.
So he's out.
I'd be very surprised if Ben could find a way to get back into this game now. Yeah,
So that's an issue with tempo, is that once you're behind, it's very hard to pick back up again.
Absolutely. And so Ben deciding he's seen the writing on the wall, that's enough.
Had enough, seen enough. I'm willing to concede here and get some more games in.
Yeah, so I imagine what's in Ben's sideboard is a lot more permission.
Yeah.
There's going to be spell pierces, I imagine.
Spell pierces, negates. I'll go have a quick look at the sideboard.
Have a look, see if you can report back. Taking a stab in the dark, Tom's got to be playing more cheap removal spells. If he's not playing things like the full 4 Fatal Push in the main, he's probably playing some of them in the board. But Nick's going to report back in a second to see what we're working with. Again, what he's saying is it is difficult. The tempo deck, very powerful when you're out in front. It likes to be out in front, and it's very good at staying in front. The problem is when you start to fall behind, none of your cards provide you any lasting advantage. Cards like Khan on Tom's side get you more value turn after turn. They're able to do their thing. Ben, on the other hand, has to deal as much damage as quickly as possible. Otherwise, each land he draws off the top is just dead. Each shock is only 2 damage. Ben has to get out ahead quickly and stay that way, whereas Tom wants to slow the game down. So Nick, what have we seen from both players?
Unfortunately, Ben has not brought a sideboard with him.
Okay.
So I spoke to him and he said, yes, I probably would have boarded in some negates, maybe a little bit of counter magic.
Spell Piercers, I imagine, would be quite powerful for him.
Yes, absolutely. So some sort of tempo play. Tom is sideboarding. He's bringing in some Moment of Clarity, I think it is.
Moment of Craving.
Moment of Craving, that's the
2 mana removal spell.
2 mana, -2/-2, gain 2 life.
Absolutely.
Seems amazing against the deck playing Lightning Bolts and 2/2s.
Yes, absolutely.
He's bringing 1 Fatal Push in. He's taking out some of his top end as well. So he's taking out a Torrential Gearhulk.
Yep.
Some of the more egregious 2-for-1s are coming out. So he's actually making his deck a little bit lower to the ground, like less swingy and less.
Yes.
But he's going to get to that end game a lot easier.
Ooh, land heavy hand from Ben. He does have a Charter Course.
He's not going to get mana screwed. He's got a Charter Course to filter through it a little bit. I like keeping that hand.
It's borderline, but I probably would keep as well.
Yeah.
The problem is you don't want to see another land for the rest of the game.
And he's not seen another land, so it's...
But it is a second Adelies, and they are legendary, so... But it's a must-kill target, so I imagine the first one will die pretty quickly. Maybe the second one sticks around.
Tom's deck is chock full of removal, so I imagine that's probably going to be the case.
Rather unassuming play for Tom. Just what Ben wants to see. Something slow and grindy. So I think this is slam down the Adelies and start getting in some damage.
Absolutely. Get that 2 damage in. Turn sideways.
A very delicate turn sideways, but smashing in nonetheless.
Quite deliberate, I like that.
Absolutely. Doomfall taking it down. Like I said, it wasn't going to survive for very long.
No, but that's fine. He's got a second one in hand.
Perhaps he's got a 1 mana spell as well. Might be able to pump it. Let's see what we can do. Ben, there we go. Another Adelies.
Another Adelies, and he's telegraphing he's got a red spell here. But that's fine, because he's about to cast it straight away.
Wizard's Lightning. 3 damage straight to the face. Trigger the prowessy ability.
So 6 this turn.
It's a big swing. I think this game hinges on whether or not Tom can answer this Adelies now.
Yeah.
If he can, Ben's going to struggle. He hasn't got a great deal else in his hand. But if he can't, this deck could very easily do 12 points of damage in a turn.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see.
And
Tom
12 is a multiple of 3 as well.
It is. But Tom is at the all-important 4 mana stage of the game. The Vraska's Contempt time of the game.
It is.
But if he gets to attack with Adelies, at least then he gets to draw 2 from Charter Course.
That's another Wizard's Lightning in his hand.
Do you cast Charter Course first or afterwards? Do you want the Prowess trigger or the extra card?
I think you probably want the extra card here. I might have been tempted not to take the land as well.
I think...
Not to play the land just yet.
I think I would have... I think I'd be doing what Ben did. I think I'd be drawing... Getting the Prowess trigger because you get to discard one of the pointless.
And he's got a Lightning Strike as well.
Shock as well.
Shock, there we go.
It's 3rd trigger.
It's counting Storm, I like it.
Attacking for 5 here.
5 and... Oh, he takes it.
Oh, that puts Tom in the range of a lot of burn spells now.
It does, and then he's just drawing cards with his 4 mana.
Ben has nothing in his hand but a land now, but he's got his opponent so low on life that there are so many good draws off the top. And bear in mind, he's still got the threat that Tom has to deal with.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
I think what? Tom desperately needs a Vraska's Contempt, but he is leaving a card on top. Ballista was that? Does answer the Adelies.
So, yes.
Now, I I think he needs a Vraska's Contempt because he needs to gain a tiny bit of that life back.
Yeah.
Just checking what's in Ben's graveyard. Eldest Reborn.
Eldest Reborn. So sacrifice that creature. Let's see what we'll get off the top.
Any of these burn spells.
Or any of these haste creatures.
Oof.
Oh no, it's a mountain.
That is not great. Would you be playing that land out? I think I'll probably hang on to it. Unless he's got... I don't think he does, but if he had a Banefire, you might. But
yeah.
But otherwise, I'd be hanging on to it.
Well, you discard a card to the Eldest Reborn anyway.
You do. And Charter Course, he hasn't got any creatures, so being able to discard around those dead lands in his hand. So now he needs a burn spell because... Yeah, and that's a shock off the top.
Excellent.
There we go. Shock your face. Tom responds by... Moment of Craving, his own Ballista, gain 2 life.
Oh, it's a bolt. Yeah, it's good.
How did he have the mana? Oh, he did have 2 mana to cast that, yeah.
Yeah.
Ping him for 1.
Ping you for 1.
Then I have to let my own spell resolve.
I was really hoping.
Tom doing everything he can to stay in the game here, though.
And that thing's... Yeah. So he's done it in his upkeep and then draw step. He's going to have a wizard, I assume.
This is the eldest... Yeah, so he's the Adelies. It's the most powerful... Well, it's the only creature.
I believe so, yes. I think everything else has been a burn spell.
I mean, that's what you want. Ben's just digging now. Dig, dig, dig. Find a burn spell. Just wait it out. It's the nervous part of the game where you just have to sit there twiddling your thumbs until...
Hopefully he doesn't gain too much life as well. That's the big concern. Because things are running out of time.
But as long as Tom has to use removal spells on his own creatures... He's tapped out again. So, but he's got prowess trigger on the...
Yep. Is that trigger on...
Actually, it's not prowess, it's on instant sorceries.
Okay.
Another land.
I wouldn't have played that out. But...
Oh, this is such a bad position.
He's got a lot of scry effects now to resolve in his upkeep.
He does.
It's like using multiple Sensitive Divining Tops.
Vraska's Contempt?
I think it must have been some way to gain life, because otherwise I don't think Tom would have kept it.
Now here's an interesting point. If your opponent has 4 mana up, and you're in Ben's position, you draw a creature, are you playing the creature?
No, I don't think so.
You're assuming he's got Vraska's Contempt and you're just waiting for a...
Like, I think you have to assume... His deck is full of removal. You have to assume that... Like, if you've seen his deck game 1 and 2, like... Yeah. Anyway, we should update the score. Sorry, so it is 1-1.
Is it 1-1? I believe Tom's just up again, isn't it?
Oh yeah, sorry.
This would be the game that Ben...
I got carried away and thought Ben won already.
Leave it unchecked. This Adley's... Okay, that's not exciting, but it cycles.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yes, it cycles.
It cycles is the spell.
An opt.
Opt. Okay, so I don't know. I think you might want to hold on for the very last possible moment for that opt.
Josh Love loses.
Okay.
So Alex
it's a
Pegler
red
wins.
spell.
Alex wins. That was fast.
That's a lightning
2-0?
strike.
2-0.
Yeah.
That is a lightning strike.
It's a lightning strike. So
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
you need to wait. Okay, definitely cast it in response to this.
No, this is happening in response to the lightning strike.
Oh, that's such a shame. He should have held
Drops
on
to
to
1
it.
life.
Like, this is the thing about instants, is you can cast them when you need to cast them.
I know. I fight. It's a really difficult
It's getting out
position.
of hand, though, isn't it?
I mean, you're forcing Tom to do stuff he doesn't want to do. He doesn't want a moment of craving his own Gilhulk.
No, he doesn't.
It doesn't kill it, but it just doesn't provide any value. But yeah, I think Ben really should have held on for as long as possible there. That would have given the greatest chance of resolving the effect.
So this treasure island on the back of treasure map.
Treasure Cove,
Treasure Cove. Is it a legend?
It's not a legendary. You can have multiple of these lands in play at the same time.
That's a hell of a lot of treasure.
He's drawing. It will be drawing a lot of cards now.
A treasure archipelago, if you will.
Indeed. So The problem is the longer Tom gets, he's going to find more and more ways to gain life.
Yeah.
We've already seen him gain 4 life in response to 2 separate burn spells.
Yeah.
And Ben doesn't have very long. Is this it? That was what looked to be a shock. No.
Some lands.
It's a gutter snipe.
Gutter snipe. So that does make any spells he draws into shocks. Again, I think you have to hold on to that. Yeah.
But you die to the Torrential Gearhulk plus.
Okay, so
5,
yes,
6,
you need to
7.
play it
So
out.
okay, no, he's not dead to Torrential Gearhulk and Adelies. I maybe would have held it for 1 turn.
Yeah.
Played it out. Then wait to see if my opponent had a response and then cast something in
So that
response.
is a 9, not a 6, isn't it?
Ah,
No, he's got the
ballistic
ballista,
kills
yeah.
him.
This is
Ah.
for the win. The good old fireball.
That is very unfortunate for Ben. He's so close, got his opponent down to 2 life.
Very,
Then
very,
down to
very
1
close.
life.
And then Tom playing very, very well around those burn spells.
Absolutely. Ben exposing his library to the world
Yeah.
to see what would have done it for him.
Quite a way down. We're going quite deep here.
No, he's already passed
Oh, right,
some
okay.
ways, but there's the last direct damage spell.
Yeah.
We were some way away, I think.
I think he'd drawn a lot of direct damage spells already that game.
He had, I mean, the only 2 creatures he found were the 2 Adelises. One died immediately, and the other
Yeah.
one stuck around long enough to deal a huge amount of damage.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
I think Ben did draw a lot of lands there, which is very unfortunate. He started with a
Yeah.
high amount in his hand, but then found a lot more.
Yes.
I think the only difficulty there was Tom had the life gain. He was having
Yeah.
to point removal spells at his own stuff,
Oh, absolutely.
but he found enough to get there. So well done to Tom, unlucky to Ben.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much, guys, for
Thank you. A great game. So
Absolutely.
we have a bit of time.
we do.
Shall we play some Legacy?
I'd love to play some
I'd
Legacy.
like to play some Legacy. I'm going to play against Martin, if that's alright.
That is absolutely
Can you
fine.
pass my bag from down there?
Of course I can. So what deck are you going to be playing? Nick Fit?
So, no, not Nick Fit. I've currently got Grixis Control built.
Oh, fantastic. That was
So-
the deck I was potentially looking at getting into. Seeing Reed Duke playing it a lot recently.
Yeah, yeah.
It looks very strong.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Right, so I'm going to go play some Legacy.
Yes.
You can criticise me. And
I certainly will.
Hopefully I can do better than you playing with your
Turbo Fog
Turbo
deck.
Fog deck. So,
Absolutely.
back in a bit.
Good luck
Thank you
to
very
Martin.
much.
So that's Nick going out there to play a little bit of Legacy with Martin. So Nick on Grixis Control and Martin on White Death and Taxes. It's mono white. The Grixis Control deck become a lot more popular recently. Seen a lot of high profile play from Reed Duke. He's taken it to a GP top 8 finish recently. He also then took it to the Team Pro Tour, I believe, and again had some success. Then finally took it at GP Richmond, where he was kind of the star, if you like, of that GP. They followed him through every round, and he did extraordinarily well, except just missed out on top 8. Very unfortunate. He had a tough draw towards the end that neither player were willing to concede, and that was the end of that GP for him. And then most recently, he streamed a 9-round Legacy Magic Online tournament, which he did top 8. He top 4'd, in fact. He got into the semi-finals, but then lost. Martin, on the other hand, playing a deck that's seen significant uptick in popularity, mostly down to the fact that a lot of recent reprints have enabled the price of the deck to fall significant. Legacy being one of the more expensive formats to play due to the reserve list, causing prices of dual lands, for example, to be very, very high. Death and Taxes is a way of kind of getting around the need to play those expensive cards. Most of it has been reprinted, so we're just kicking off. So I'm just going to change the names.
Thomas 1.
Thomas 1.
2-1. Although
you will watch it.
We've got that already.
Yeah.
We have.
And then Thomas and Josh are dropping.
Okay, Thomas and Josh are dropping. Josh Love drop. Thomas drop. So I will update the player numbers for the player names as soon as we find out which player's in which seat. Those sleeves look like they belong to Nick. And the other sleeves I assume belong to Martin. So here we go. I've got that the wrong way around. So this is Nick on Grixis. So that is blue, black, and red. Blue, black, and red. For Grixis. Hello Sam, welcome. Joining me to commentate on some Legacy.
Indeed.
And we have mono white for Martin, don't we?
Yep, Death Taxes. Current darling of the Legacy metagame.
Nick showing us his opening hand, very powerful one. Jason the Mind Sculptor, 2 Ponders.
Liliana the Last Hope, Go Mega Angler, all very good. Yep.
Nick knows what his opponent is playing,
Bit
so
short
Liliana.
on interaction, but he knows that doesn't really matter. So
Liliana the Last Hope is
Nick's slightly cheating, but never mind.
Incredible against the Death and Taxes deck. A lot of creatures with 1 toughness, isn't there, Sam?
Yeah.
Although Martin after the most powerful start that the Death and Taxes
with an
deck can do.
Yeah. Aether Vial, a very odd artifact from Darksteel originally.
Yeah.
So in the beginning of Martin's upkeep, he could put charge counters on it, which is why he put a dice on top of his deck there as a reminder. And he can choose to tap it at any time to put a creature from his hand directly into play with converted mana cost equal to the number of charge counters on it. So very powerful, lets you get creatures around counter spells and play creatures at instant speed when they would not otherwise normally be able to be played.
And this is Nick playing a Ponder. He sees 2 lands and a Fatal Push, decides to leave them on top, valuing the Fatal Push.
Which makes sense, he knows his opponent's on a creature deck.
He's going to be forced to draw one of those lands when he's got a lot in his hand, but I think he still values the Fatal Push enough to take the land.
Well, plus also he's got a Jace, so he's got use for excess lands. He wants to make sure he gets to at least 4 mana.
Absolutely. So Martin looking at his hand, I see a Wasteland, a Plate, it's a Rishadan Port,
Recruiter of the Guard,
and a Thalia.
Yeah.
So what are you playing on turn 2? I like the Thalia.
I think what I would actually do in his situation is port Nick on his upkeep, but it looks like Martin's going for the Thalia instead, which is also perfectly fine.
Interesting.
The way that Death and Taxes sort of operates at its best is you want to get as much value out of that Aether Vial as possible.
Indeed.
So you don't, and also it didn't pan out in this instance, but he did expose that Thalia to counter magic there. Whereas if he just ports Nick at his upkeep, then he's basically you're continually just slowing your opponent down.
I suppose in essence against a non-creature spell, it has the same effect. Cutting him off 1 land or making him pay 1 more.
That's
true, the same effect.
True, against like a Ponder or a Fatal Push or what have you.
But you're right, because porting Nick stops him from really making best use of his mana, prevents him from actually using a removal spell, like a Fatal Push.
As it is though, what Martin did also makes sense because we already know he's got another 2-drop in hand, so therefore he's got something to file in this turn regardless.
So he's making best use of his mana there, wanting to develop his own, prioritising to develop his own
I would
board.
guess Nick's line here is going to look something like Fatal Push the Thalia, and then untap and try and make the Liliana, but then Martin's going to get to flash in his Phyrexian Revoker, naming the Liliana in response to the Liliana activation there, and shut that one off. That's interesting.
That's blue red, there we are. There we go, that's better, just fixing the colours here.
So Recruiter of the Guard, a card from Conspiracy Take the Crown, which is legal in Legacy, because the rules are odd that way. And it will let Martin tutor for a creature with toughness 2 or less from his library and put it into his hand. So he's got a lot of good options.
What would you be taking here?
I'd be tempted to get a 2-drop, I think, because he's got that Vial on 2.
He's got a Revoker
I would take a guess at Stoneforge Mystic here. Just to give him a bit of action to, all these random creatures get a lot better when they've got an Umazau's Jitte on them, for example.
Recruiter could tutor up what, sorry, a creature?
Toughness 2 or less, yeah.
So I like tutoring up a Flicker Wisp.
Okay, he's gone for the Remorseful Cleric, that's interesting. So he's thinking about his opponent's Snapcaster Mages and Gurmag Anglers there.
So
and he also wants a flying threat.
My personal preference is for Flicker Wisp here because he's got a 2-drop anyway to use the Vial. Next turn he can Flicker Wisp with that Recruiter and go tutoring again, and he still ends up with a flying threat.
True, true.
I
think he's just looking at something he can violin right now, is what his thinking is.
And I suppose
he doesn't. We know about the Liliana that's coming, so we know he's probably going to end up flickering Revoker on that. But you really don't want to just flicker in. You don't want to violin a Revoker for no value because it's just going to be a 2-mana 2/1.
I think that's probably sensible. I can see the reasoning behind that.
So now Nick's going to play his Liliana and try and activate it on the Recruiter of the Guard, and then Martin's going to tap his Vial. Interestingly, I'm not quite sure how that works. So if the ability from the Liliana is already on the stack, then I suppose we respond to the casting of the Liliana by activating the Revoker.
Correct.
And we put the Revoker into play, naming Liliana Last Hope.
We leave Nick with a dead brick on the field, not doing anything. So I imagine we'll see Martin activate the Vial here.
Yeah, that seems fairly likely.
No, it's just letting it resolve.
Letting it happen. That's surprising. Yeah, there we go. No, he is doing what he wanted to do. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, there's just a slight communication lag there, but yeah, that is what we thought would happen.
So what?
Because the Liliana does get the counter still. It's just can't activate any of its loyalty abilities.
Correct.
So now Martin gets to kill that Liliana for free by attacking it with his creatures, which I suspect will be where things go. And then
Martin's choosing not to take the Vial up to 3
because he's wanting to violin that. He's probably not drawn an additional 3-drop, and he's wanting to violin that. Yeah. Now this is where this is where the Death and Taxes really starts to swing it, because now that Jace in Nick's hand is functionally dead because he's no way close to getting to 4 mana at sorcerer speed to cast it, and then Martin gets to port his blue mana in his upkeep. Or his black mana. Yeah.
Well, that's the removal
Turn
spell.
Off the removal spell. No, it is the blue mana. Yeah.
Interesting.
Because blue mana is the mana colour that lets Nick dig himself out of trouble.
Very true.
However, I think that allows Nick to make his Gomade Angler if he wants, because he's got 6 cards in his graveyard and 2 mana.
He can.
So that might be the line here. Put a giant man into play and hope Martin doesn't have a source of plowshares.
Gomade Angler does kind of brick wall a lot of these
biggest of brick
non-flying
walls,
threats.
Yeah. 1 black. 1 blue.
He's going to take the opportunity to ponder first.
Whilst the Thalia's not here, yeah, that makes
sense. A bit more information, plus that's another card to exile.
Yeah, plus he can, it's functionally the same as, I forgot, the additional cantrip there, that makes a lot of sense, because it's functionally the same effect.
Nick, I believe, choosing to shuffle here, which is why we're not seeing the library down on the table anymore. I think he's... If you're Nick, what are you looking for here? Colligan's Command?
Well, he's not got any red mana for that, so that's a bit of a non-starter. I'd be interested in... Oh, I don't really know.
Playing the Gomag Angler
Martin's board is pretty well developed at this stage. I mean, Colligan's Command would be a good start, because I think he's still got 1 land left in his hand.
I believe so. I think he can tutor... So he gets ported.
Yeah, but he can in response to the port, he can... Yeah, there's the source of plowshares. I mean, that's not the worst for Nick. Like, 5 life buys him at least an extra turn, because of the size of Gomag Angler. So.
What are you thinking about, in the current meta, Path to Exile versus Swords?
I think it's currently... I think you can currently make an argument... I think... particularly in the older powerful formats, I think the drawback of giving your opponent an extra land in the few situations where Baleful Strix, that's the card that Nick wants, which he's drawn.
But he's going to get his black mana ported here, I imagine.
True, but he's got that additional land in his hand, so he should be able to.
True, and you're searching up a Badlands, get access to the red mana and the black you need for the Baleful Strix.
Anyway, yeah. The issue that I see with Path to Exile is that the problem of power level in these older formats means that you're just... If you give your opponent an extra land, that could allow them to do a lot of very degenerate things because it's legacy. So I think that drawback is enough. A lot of the times it doesn't come up, at which point Path to Exile is incredible, which makes it a very good sideboard card.
But if you think, what are the decks that run a lot of basic lands? They are the control decks.
And a lot of the combo decks.
Which removal spell is probably dead anyway.
Show and Tell?
Okay, versus Show and Tell I can see the argument there, but if you're having to source to plow, you can't source to plowshares or path in Emrakul anyway. So it's dead in that circumstance. Against Grizzlebrand...
Path to Exile probably slightly better because you're not giving them the life for future Grizzlebrands. Yeah.
Correct. So I think for the most part I quite like Path at the moment because the decks with basic lands are control decks, combo decks...
And Death and Taxes.
Death and Taxes. So Death and Taxes is probably the one kind of big place where you wouldn't want to give them
or
that.
anything of a similar Aether Vial bent, so like Maverick, Elves, Goblins.
Okay, so
basically anything running off an Aether Vial, giving them an extra land is going to be a problem for you because lands, as we see here, either allow them to do things like disrupt your opponent's mana base or to deploy multiple threats in the same turn and kind of accelerate away from the game there.
Okay, fair enough.
Whereas a few points of life, because also a lot of those decks are small creature decks,
Yes.
so in those instances, giving your opponents a couple of points of life isn't likely to matter in the long run.
Okay, I can see that, and hence why the Path to Exile seeing significant sideboard play then.
Yeah, because
not in the
it's for instances where you want additional copies of Swords to Plowshares type effects. Incidentally, I think that it's currently quite good as a sideboard card, but I think it's about to get significantly worse.
Why is that?
Because I think once Assassin's Trophy comes into the format, that will provide enough of a swing, I think, that some portion of decks will start to put an additional basic or two into their mana bases, just so that they are not as badly... Because currently, in those similar situations we were just talking about, somebody who resolves an... can we one up on here? Yeah, somebody who resolves an Assassin's Trophy.
We've already discussed Assassin's Trophy. It is a very powerful.
Yeah, so somebody who resolves an Assassin's Trophy onto a
Foiled in Sanctum Prelate.
That's pretty good.
What are you naming
Pretty
here?
strong. I just name one. Yeah, he's gone for one. It shuts off so much of.
The Grixis deck actually not as badly affected by that
as some
a lot
decks
of
are. No, that's very true. But it still shuts off a lot of Nick's ability to sort of dig his way out of this hole that he's in.
Having seen Reed Duke play this deck, I watched a 9-round Magic Online tournament with him earlier today. Plus...
here we go, Snapcaster Fatal Push. That's a reasonable buy-in.
But he can't play...
but he can, because he gives it flashback, blocks the prelate, and then in his second main phase, when it still has flashback, he can cast the Fatal Push out of his graveyard.
But Martin can now port the Swamp before...
He can, he may not spot that line, so we'll have to wait and see.
If he ports the Swamp before damage is done...
Or he might just vial in the Flicker Wisp on the... Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So, the Snapcaster...
yeah, interesting, because he's going to leave the Snapcaster blank, because it's going to come back in, the prelate's still going to be in play, and he's still not going to be able to cast his spell. That is quite a nice line by Martin there, yeah. Quite
Was
like
that before the Snapcaster went to blocks then, I assume?
Yes, I guess that must have been what happened there. The extra 2 points of
So
damage.
what Nick really wants here is a marsh casualty.
Yeah, it's a Toxic Deluge, I believe, is his go-to response for this kind of situation.
I don't believe the deck plays in the main.
No, it would surprise me. Yeah.
Hymns, Jaces, a lot of very dead cards.
Yeah, Jace, he is distinctly uncastable at the minute because of the continual activation of Rissadin ports on his lands in Martin's upkeep.
What are you thinking about Nick's lands at the moment?
I mean, they're a bit of an abomination. I'll be honest.
It's quite the mismatch.
Quite the mismatch. Yeah. About the only thing it could be worse would be if one of them was whiteboarded. But,
I mean, I will give him kudos for his choice there. The island and the swamp are both Euro lands. You can see the white cliffs of Dover on the island.
The style points are definitely there, but the messaging is just all over the place.
The mismatched is horrible.
Can't quite see what that one.
Diabolic Edict.
Diabolic Edict, sure. So yeah, Martin just chugging away here.
Yeah, but if Nick's got another Snap Edict, he might start getting somewhere.
True, yeah, Snap Edict does stabilise him here.
Because it's interesting. Nick's not in a great position. The last time we saw his hand, it wasn't particularly impressive.
Yeah, I mean, granted, if he hits another land, then he gets to make a Jace and start drawing some cards and actually potentially dig his way back out of it.
Jace that wouldn't stick
it
around.
Would die. It would die to the Flicker Wisp, granted, but it does at least get him it soaks up a hit and it buys it. That effectively buys him a turn and 3 cards to look at, which is more than enough out of this kind of deck to swing it back in his favour.
Very true indeed.
Because at this point, essentially, the Jaces he's got 2 Jaces in his hand, and they're both doing nothing. So he would very much, in order to win this game, he's going to need one of those Jaces to do something. And the only way I can see that happening is if he draws another land. So, basically, if he doesn't draw a 1-mana spell, he should be able to do something here. There we go.
Strix is a good one.
That's a decent start.
That blocks either of Martin's creatures. Did not see what he played there. Another Recruiter. To find another Flicker Wisp.
This Death and Taxes deck operating on all cylinders. I'm not sure you really want to be Flicker Wisping Baleful Strix out of the way. I suppose we can just attack and then flicker whatever is going to be blocked by the Baleful Strix. Yeah, that's pretty serviceable.
Which, no, because you wouldn't want to Baleful. You wouldn't want to attack the. I'm just thinking Flicker Wisp the Recruiter and just keep going.
I'd be tempted to just get a Stoneforge Mystic here, I think, and just get your equipment on.
Interesting.
Bit short on mana for that, I suppose, given that we can't.
And the foil is on 3,
so yeah, it looks like we are just going to Flicker Wisp stuff.
Because if you Flicker Wisp the Recruiter again, you can just keep guaranteeing
for whatever you want. Yes.
Guaranteeing drawing 2 cards a turn, one of your choice every turn. This is the only kind of real way that the Death and Taxes deck gets card advantage. White is not known for its ability to draw cards.
It's really all about its mana advantage primarily, and then we are tutoring for specific answers when we need them. And the Flicker Wisp Recruiter value chain is pretty excellent, let's be honest.
Indeed. Here we go. Is this the Flicker Wisp again?
We're going in. All right.
Oh wow.
So we're going for the aggro line. That makes sense. This does put Nick to 1, which is quite the swing. Oop. Oh, minus 1.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah. I believe that was attack for 7. So I'm not quite sure. Because it's 3 and then Recruiters are 2-1, so I'm not quite sure why. 5, perhaps Nick had misrecorded his life total earlier on and we missed it. But
or do you know what? By that point in the game, Nick could have very well just given up anyway. I don't think he stood much of a chance.
Yeah, the top card of his deck would probably need to be a Toxic Deluge for him not to just die there.
Which I believe the deck doesn't run in the main anyway.
In the main anyway, as you said, yeah. Because when you've got all of your own small creatures.
No, Toxic Deluge doesn't help. You have to pay a life.
Ah, true.
So you kill yourself. It needed to be marsh casualties.
Yeah, it did need to be marsh casualties, didn't it? Which he's probably not got in the pre-board games.
He certainly does not.
Ah, Nick with the communism satchel there. Representing the People's Republic.
So, Sam, you're obviously sat with me, so you can give me your result over Cedric.
I won 2-0.
Sam taking down Cedric 2-0.
Mono Red strikes again.
So Nick comes crawling back, not able to... Continuing the curse of the commentators.
Indeed. Sanctum Prelate's a hell of a card.
It is. It certainly is.
Certainly bricked you off pretty hard though.
It really did.
Actually, mostly what got you was his Rishadan.
And the Rishadan port tapping me down.
Continually preventing those Jaces from doing anything.
I couldn't get my Jace online and get it into play and start bouncing his...
Anyway, I shall hand you your seat back.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Sam. Thanks for commentating.
We still need some results here.
Matt Perry won 2-1.
Very well done to Matt Perry.
Awesome.
Beating Justin 2-1. Perry 2-1.
So, did I make any glaring mistakes? Should I have done something in response to him to activating the Vial for 3? It didn't occur to me that he sent to prelay right there and then.
Having seen your hand, I don't think there was that much you could do with the mana you had available.
Fair enough.
I think the Death and Taxes deck was firing all cylinders, doing
really
exactly what it wanted to do.
With like one more mana in play, I think it would have been a little bit better for him. But like that, yeah.
You were in a great position until it was Wasteland Port, then Port, taking off two
Absolutely.
mana. So I think no glaring holes as far as Sam and I could see, but
Good.
I think you were just a victim of the Death and Taxes deck doing what it's supposed to do.
Yes, that is absolutely the Death and Taxes deck doing exactly what it's meant to do. Taxing my mana, getting me dead, playing all the hate permanents. Thalia would have got me so hard as well.
I tell you what, the Sam and I saw your opening hand, thought, yeah, that's a fantastic keep against the Taxes deck.
Yeah.
And then Revoker in response to the Liliana was very hurtful.
Harsh. Yeah.
That game, I think, hinged almost exclusively on that
I should have held on to the Liliana for a bit longer. That might have been my mistake. Maybe I should have just played a few more removal spells, done a few more other bits and pieces before doing it. Slowed down a little bit, because he wasn't getting me dead too quickly.
No. And What do you think about his original his original recruiter tutoring up the? Did he tutor up the first time? Was it the Sanctum Prelate he tutored up the first
So
time?
the first time he tutored up the flyer from Standard, the one that exiles my graveyard.
Remorseful Cleric, yes.
So Martin said to me, I put you on the wrong deck. I thought you were on Blue-Black Reanimator.
Ah, okay. Well
because I have been playing Blue-Black Reanimator recently. So he thought I was on Reanimator, and so he got the card that was good against me. So Martin slightly metagaming there against me, but
that makes perfect sense based on that. My thought, if he'd have known he was playing against Grixis Control, is that it would have just been Flicker Wisps.
Yeah.
Keeping the value train rolling.
Oh, absolutely.
The Mono White Taxes deck, I was just saying, doesn't play any real card advantage. Mono White, not known for its card draw.
No.
And flickering Recruiter over and over is one way to generate advantage.
Cool. So it's coming to the end of FNM. We're just getting the promos out. So these are the promos.
Militia Bugler, Elvish Rejuvenator.
You see a lovely green screen on this card. So we have Militia Bugler, Murder, and I promise you it's green. We have
Elvish
Rejuvenator. So these are the promos. So you can take your pick of one of these cards. We've got packs of 4, I believe, to give away. So we'll split open 3 packs, and people can pick from these cards for what they want from FNM. There are also boosters as well.
And for the last little bit of FNM, do you fancy a game of Legacy? We can get Sam and Martin in here commentating.
For what? Sorry, after we finish.
After we finish, because
yeah,
I could quite fancy playing a game of Legacy against the Grixis deck. I don't know how that matchup goes. Probably favoured for you, I somewhat.
Think that the
0, it's just ticked down.
I think that the Baleful Strixen are going to be quite good against you.
I think they're going to be very good against me.
I think I might get dazed quite a bit though. you are on Rug Delver.
I am.
Sorry, Teamer Delver.
No, Rug. So Canadian Threshold.
Canadian Thresh, yeah, absolutely.
So what it comes down to is how badly can I tax your mana at the beginning? How can I stifle you? Can I wasteland you enough at the beginning to slow you down?
Well, you've seen how many basics I'm playing now. From the game we've just seen.
Dan won 2-0.
4 basics is a lot of basics. Dan won 2-0.
Yeah.
Cool.
4 basics is a lot of basics. That was more than Reed Duke was playing. I believe he was playing 2 islands and a swamp.
Yes, I'm playing a slightly different list.
Interesting. I like the basic heavy, especially as Sam was saying, especially coming up with the Assassin's Trophy new card.
Yes.
You might see more decks playing a basic or 2 because that card is a beating.
Indeed. So while round is available, we are going to create the next round. So we've got we currently have I believe we have 8 players remaining in the tournament.
We do.
And we have 2 people on 9 points. We've watched both of their decks before.
We have.
So I'm suggesting that we have someone else on stream.
I think we should have someone else on stream.
So our top table is Matthew Parry and Sam Points. So it's Grixis Dragons versus Mono Red. We could have Justin against Cedric, Alex against Ben, and Dan against Oliver. I'm quite interested in Justin versus Cedric, I think.
Well, Justin and Cedric are the only 2 we haven't seen play.
Let's get those on camera.
Let's get Justin and Cedric on the camera for a final match. Just to confirm to everyone that the top table is in fact Matt Perry versus Sam Points. Like Nick said, we've seen both of those decks on camera. Sam playing the Mono Red deck, Matt Perry playing the Grixis Dragons deck. So Phil wants top table to be on the camera, which does provide a bit of drama, if you like, because you get to see who's going to win. But we have seen both those decks before, so it's maybe not quite as interesting. Especially because that Mono Red deck is very aggressive, and the Dragons deck can be a little slow. So I think it might be interesting to see a matchup we haven't seen before, Justin versus Cedric. So, like Nick said, we've got 8 players left in the tournament. We've had 4 people drop.
You got a sheet? Sorry?
So there we go. We are just pairing the final round. We'll see what we can get for us. So, oh, here we go. So final rounds are paired.
Cool. Yeah.
And we do in fact have a bye, which is very unfortunate. So we have right, okay. Let's get these overlays set up. Don't know what Cedric's playing. I imagine it's a control deck. He does have a draw up to this point, which is very unfortunate for him. Cedric trying harder to play faster and faster because he knows that sometimes he can play a little bit slowly. So let's see if we can keep up. And Justin, I don't know anything about Justin's deck. I believe, yes, last week he might have been playing mono red Cal, so mono red Cal, same deck as Sam was playing earlier. It's a very good deck. It's a very powerful deck, but it's very easily countered. It follows one line, which is deal as much damage as quickly as possible. So, do we know which player's on which map? Do we know what Justin's playing?
Not at the moment. So at the moment, I believe that on the left-hand side we have Cedric.
Okay. Have to wait and see what decks they're playing. It's a surprise to us as much as it is to you.
I believe, in fact, I don't know. I don't currently know what Cedric is playing.
I believe it might be some kind of a control deck, but I could be wrong. Cedric leaving us soon, as far as
Is
I'm
he
aware.
moving? Oh.
I believe he's just finished university. He will be moving to another part of the UK and maybe pursuing a career or another university course. So I think
awesome.
He's leaving us for a short
Congratulations to him.
Yeah, very well done to him. It'll be a shame to see him go.
That is the wrong way round.
Yes. Cedric on the other side. Cedric, famously pile shuffling.
It's fine. It's all good.
It certainly is.
So Justin is on a green deck.
Green?
He's playing elves, apparently.
Elves?
I've spoken to someone, and my insider knowledge says that Justin is playing some sort of elves deck, which is really cool.
Wow, we've not seen an elf deck yet. Ravnica might add some more fuel to the fire.
Yeah, so the Golgari and Selesnya are both coming out. They historically have elves. So we're going to see some Elvish Rejuvenators, I think, from the Justin's deck.
I like Elvish Rejuvenator.
This is what I've been told. Maybe not.
I mean, we must be seeing some Llanowar elves.
Yeah.
The reason to be playing elves.
Absolutely. Phil, have we answered your question about who's on top table? So top table at the moment is Matt Perry versus Sam Points.
We have.
This is not top table because we've seen both those decks. So we thought we'd watch something different.
I'm just saying, although there's some drama in seeing who's at the top table, who's going to win.
Yeah. So that top table, they're both at 9 points. The winner of that is going to win FNM.
Which, knowing them, they've probably ID'd and are playing it out to see who gets first. So this game, though, far more important. This game probably decides who locks up third place.
Yes. So both these players are on 6 points. Alex is also at 6 points, Alex Pegler, but his tiebreakers are a lot worse. Justin's tiebreakers are best. Actually, it's interesting because Tom dropped. He had to go home, but he was also on 6 points. So Cedric's actually at 4 points. He's got a draw. So if Cedric wins and if Alex wins, then Cedric comes fourth.
Ah, I see. Okay.
But if Cedric wins and Alex loses, and he comes third.
Okay, interesting.
It's all to play for. Although that could be thrown out. Joe Quilty is also at 4 points. He's got the bye this round, so he's definitely winning.
Oh, that means his breakers aren't great though.
No, that is very true.
Unlucky Joe. Shame to have a bite, but that's the rules. That's the way they get cookie crumbles.
It is. It goes up the rankings.
So Cedric here, I'm seeing a lot of lands in his hand.
It would be interesting since I know that he
Blue-white.
Blue-white. Okay, he's playing control. Excellent. So we're going to start the timer.
So Camille, you missed our last game. Finished very quickly, so we had time to watch
Some Legacy.
Nick and Martin play some Legacy together.
I lost again. So it's a duress, and we get to see that Cedric is playing blue-white of some description with Gearhulks.
That looks like a black land as well, so it looks like Esper
blue-black.
control.
Okay.
No.
Oh, blue-black.
There is white as well, so it looks like Esper control.
Okay, cool. So he's taken a...
Essentially, the Esper control deck is a blue-black control deck that
Yikes.
plays Teferi.
Okay.
It's the only real white card in the deck.
I have been kind of wanting to play that deck, so I've got most of the blue-black cards. I might be missing the fetid pools, but that's not so much of an issue now.
Now that... And we're soon going to have Watery Grave to replace it.
So exciting. I need a couple more Watery Graves for my collection, actually.
Camille, main board duress is where... Main deck duress is where it's at. My Golgari
I'm so glad that you changed that from main board to main deck.
Yes. I was just reading what Camille was saying. I say main deck because I know how much it annoys you when someone says main board.
Oh, thank you very much for not annoying me because I said Seema Delver earlier.
Absolutely, you did say Seema Delver. As far as I'm aware, I don't think... So that's Elvish Rejuvenated?
Elvish Rejuvenated, we did say...
We in fact have a copy right in front of us here. It's ruined by the green screen, I'm afraid.
So Elvish Rejuvenated says, I'm going to read the copy we've got right here. It says, when it enters the battlefield, so look at your top 5 cards of your library, put a land card from them onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order.
In answer to your question, Camille, I don't think that Esper does play any copies of Settle. The problem with Settle the Wreckage is that it's double white, and this deck really only wants to splash the white. So it could very well do, and it wouldn't surprise me, especially in the sideboard, if they had Wraths. But as far as I'm aware, it doesn't.
So Justin may be playing Ramp. I've been told he's playing Elves, but I think the Rejuvenator might just be Ramp. Who knows?
Yeah, because Elves are generally quite low to the ground. You wouldn't normally see a card like Elvish Rejuvenator in an Elf deck.
True.
Although it is an Elf,
it's one of the best Elves in Standard right now.
It is, but it's not one that sort of works with that low to the ground, fast, aggressive.
Synergise too much with it. It depends. Like you could be ramping into big Elves.
I wonder what we might see here.
4 mana. Okay, so that is a green-black elf, maybe?
It is a green-black elf. I believe it's a... Now, if this is the card I think it is, it's a limited all-star. It's a 2/3 Death Touch. Whenever a creature dies, your opponent loses life, you gain a life.
Okay, yeah.
And it's 3 mana.
Awesome. He's tapped 4 for it, though.
He has tapped 4 for it. I'm not sure I know exactly what that card is, then, if that was 4 mana. It's an M19 card. Maybe if someone in chat knows what that card is. I might want to change format to standard.
We're just doing quick search.
Plus that only search card name.
Yeah, that is true. To the internet.
It's got an archer in the text.
Okay.
And based on the fact Cedric has just taken 3 damage, it's got 2 power.
Okay. Just doing a search for all standard elves right now.
Well, at least you're looking for a gold card, black and red.
Yeah.
Black and green even.
Black and green, okay, cool.
4 mana, probably, or 3 mana. I thought...
Poison Tip Archer.
Yes,
maybe.
it is.
So 4 mana, creature, elf, archer, reach, death touch, and whenever another creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life.
So it was the one I thought it was.
Yes.
I just mistook the mana cost. I thought it was 3 mana, but it's obviously 4 mana.
Okay.
So
Historically, elves, some of the elves decks in Legacy do play main deck Thoughtseize. So duress into elf, it's quite a deck.
And that duress did clear the way with an essence, take the essence scatter away.
Yeah, when so many people are playing control, that card seems pretty good.
So I'll be interested to see what Justin's got on the top end, because obviously that Rejuvenator does help ramp into the bigger cards.
Carnage Tyrant.
Is it?
I don't know.
I mean, I'd love to see one of those.
Sorry, Sandworm Convergence. We'll go with that again. That's a card.
This is really testing
with
me.
some glare. Is it an elf?
That looks like a Steel Leaf Champion, which is an elf.
So Steel Leaf Champion is 2 mana elf.
It's a 3 mana elf.
3 mana elf.
Costs triple green. It's a 5/4.
Ah, yes. And it can't be blocked except by it can't be blocked by creature with power 2 or less.
It's a standard all-star. You don't often see it in this shell, but it's normally in the mono green deck.
So he's only got 1 swamp in play, so he can potentially afford to play that spell. Probably playing a lot less swamps than he is forests.
It is a very, very powerful card. 3 mana, 5 power creature.
Normally we see these cards in sort of the mono green stumpy decks.
And Vraska's Contempt.
Vraska's Contempt. Oh, yes!
But a Blossoming Defense lands neatly on top.
I'm so happy.
That spell will not resolve.
No.
Cedric will not gain 2 life.
Cedric. At least he did it at the end of this turn, so he can untap and go again.
He saves himself 2 damage as well. That's the difficulty.
So when you do that on your opponent's turn, they're attacking you. Ugh.
Yeah, it's the big blowout. It's why against other decks in Legacy and Modern, against Infect, you want to use your instant speed removal either at the end of your opponent's turn or the start of your in your own.
So all of us know from what we've seen of Cedric's hand earlier that he's got a Torrential Gearhulk in hand. So we saw that revealed to the duress earlier in the game.
Question is, has Justin got an answer for the... Now, what's that?
All your elves gain Shroud, that'd be quite good.
I don't believe that card exists in Standard.
Nope. Okay.
But he's digging through
another
the top
Rejuvenator,
of his library.
maybe? But this time non-promo? No, it's a rare, isn't it?
This is a rare. He's revealing a Thrashing Brontodon.
Okay, that's quite good against the
Gearhulk.
The Gearhulk. That's quite good.
Interesting, but I don't know what card that is. Wow, this deck of Justin's is so fantastic.
It's testing us, isn't it? Again.
Oh, I know what card that is.
Yeah.
That's Growing Rights of Itlamok. That is the Gaia's
cool.
Cradle flip card.
That goes in elves as well. So you're playing Thoughtseize, Duress, Gaia's Cradle, Growing Rights of Itlamok.
The man's playing a Legacy deck.
He is playing a Legacy deck. A bunch of elves, some lords, Thrashing Brontodon, excellent.
Justin's just tapping slightly incorrectly there. He tapped 2 swamps and the dual land, whereas he needs a second resource.
Let him know. I don't think it matters overall. I think he's tapped the right mana.
He does have the mana to sack it, but the Torrential Gearhulk is in fact Essence Scattering. But the Torrential Gearhulk Essence scattered that anyway, so he didn't get the opportunity to sack it. And now he's got no good attack. I suppose the Death Toucher.
Because he took the Essence Scatter off his first duress, didn't he?
He did. The Death Toucher can attack quite neatly.
That's good. At least he can still get some damage in. He's still pressuring Cedric's life.
He is. Cedric not wanting to block and clear the way for that Steel Leaf Champion next turn.
Well, this is it. If he doesn't think he's going to be blocking with that Gearhulk, he should probably attack into the board.
Yes, absolutely.
So what's the trigger on Growing Rights of Itlamok to transform?
So it's when you... I believe it's when you control a certain amount of creatures.
Okay. Like 4 or 5?
I don't think it's as many as 5. I will have a look. Let's look it up. So Growing Rights of Itlamok, when it enters the battlefield, you look at the top 4 cards, you can reveal a creature card and put it into your hand.
Yep.
End step, if you control 4 or more creatures, you can transform it.
Ah, so 4 or more. So we only need 1 more. He was about to get there as well.
He was, and it transforms into a Gaia's Cradle, essentially.
Yeah.
Taps for a mana of each creature. So, again, things like Growing Rights,
Yeah.
Elvish Rejuvenator, these are all cards that generate a very large amount of mana. I want to see I'm wondering what Justin's got at the very top end of his deck. What are the big cards he's looking to power
Torment
out?
of Hailfire.
And he's playing the black. He could potentially cast a card like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't really fit with the synergy of the rest of the deck,
No.
but
It's kind of fun.
but it really could catch someone out, couldn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Yes. Khalil, I agree with you. We want to see a Torment of Hailfire.
No.
Oh, he's not going to get his Growing Rights on, but
No, chumping the Torrential Gearhulk with his Rejuvenator. Oof.
a Fatal Push is switched on.
That's 2 Fatal Pushes there. He essentially just wiped Justin's board.
But Cedric should have been taking some damage when those creatures died, right?
Cedric should have taken damage when those creatures died. He should have taken 1, 2, potentially 2 life, and Justin should have gained 2 life there.
I don't believe it gains you life. I don't believe it just does damage.
Oh, it just drains, does it?
Yeah, it just does lose life.
Oof. So that is a reclamation.
Do we go
Sage.
correct that? That's the question.
I don't think we do.
no.
It's a trigger. It's his
trigger.
beneficial trigger, so it's up to him to forget it. And that was a Wreck Sage just being essence scattered, which would have dealt with the Torrential Gearhulk.
Yeah, Cedric's has got it all here.
Ooh,
And a Teferi, yes.
that to me
That sort of says game over,
end
doesn't
of
it?
Justin's run here. Ouch. Cedric now untapping the 2 lands from Teferi at the end of his turn.
We offered Cedric a playmat and everything. He's
Cedric said
refused
no.
it. I'm surprised.
He's playing on the Game of Thrones playmat.
He is. He's got a
very
Tyrion Lannister.
Poorly
there.
done Tyrion Lannister.
Yeah. It's a rare. It's probably a Steel Leaf champion.
No,
it's not.
This is not. This is.
It's 2 mana, isn't it?
It's 2 mana. It's a 2/3.
Okay.
Whenever it becomes the target of a spell or ability your opponents control, create a 1/1 elf.
You could just be saying things to me, and I would go, yeah.
It's a Thorn Lieutenant, is what the card is called.
Okay, yep.
Again, he's playing the mono green Stompy style deck, but obviously now in elves as well, which makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Cedric doesn't have an answer for it immediately either. I mean, Justin's got to take the damage here, surely he doesn't.
I think that if he wants to win the game, he probably just has to take 5 and try and deal with whatever's coming on. Just try and attack him.
He sees that as well.
Yeah.
Cedric tapping many manas. What has he got?
5.
Oh, the Scarab God.
Scarab God, yes.
Teferi's going to untap 2 lands, which will give him the ability to activate it.
I want to play this deck.
It does seem very powerful. I mean, you do have most of the cards for it, so you could put it together.
I do, and it'll be one of the last opportunities to play it soon as well.
Perhaps we can see you next week playing it. Yeah, Scarab God is quite ridiculous.
Yes.
Ouch. He's attacking into the Scarab God.
Bold. It's bold. I think.
Titanic Growth?
Yeah, I think it has to be some sort of trick.
Cedric calling his bluff. What have we got?
It's not.
What? Oh, he's activating the ability. Gives it +4/+4 till end of turn.
Right, okay.
For 6 mana.
He's not going to reanimate anything. Oh, I don't know that he's got... Oh, he could reanimate his opponent's stuff, I guess. But he's obviously keeping mana open for things. Scarab God goes back to hand.
Trigger, yeah. See, I liked reanimating something there. Something like...
I think Cedric was playing it safe because he might have some sort of counter spell or kill spell in his hand.
Yeah,
I know that he's only got 2 mana open, but you never know.
Camille saying they would have disallowed the activation on the ability. But Cedric's just happy that the 5/5 comes back over and over again, and all the while Teferi is ticking up, gaining cards, threatening that ultimate. I think he's not in a great position, is he? Are we going to see instant replay? Going to see Justin attack and pump?
I don't know. He's not got. So this is the other thing you can do with the all your mana. How many times can you activate that? As many times
as you like.
So that's another thing to do with all your mana is activate that creature.
It just takes 6 mana to activate, though.
Yeah. Okay, it's a Land of War Elves.
Very late.
Strong play off the top.
A very late Land of War Elves, unfortunately.
Yeah. I like the attack here.
I do as well, but I have to think that Cedric probably has an answer. Is this a game of chicken? Is Cedric waiting for him to activate?
I think Cedric can quite happily sit here and do whatever. Like, I don't think this matters at all. All he has to have is the answer for the Llanowar Elves, and then...
Torrential Girl? Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely all she wrote. Just recount my mana. Make sure I've got it exactly perfect.
Let's see.
And Vraska's Contempt, your Llanowar Elves, and block.
I don't think he can block. His opponent can still activate the ability.
But that's fine, because he kills the Llanowar Elves and just attacks back and got him.
He just kill him, yeah. Interesting. Blossoming defense here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, what's that card? Why is there an upside down card on the field? Because he's become the target of spell or ability. The Thorn Lieutenants, that's a 1/1 elf created from the trigger.
Cool. Awesome.
And he Blossoming defensed it, thus keeping it alive.
Yes.
Interesting.
Cedric does gain 2 life.
He does not.
Oh, no, he doesn't, because it's the target is removed.
Yeah.
It's no longer a valid target. And then he pumps it anyway.
Killing Teferi.
He might be blocking, I don't know.
We'll see what happens. I think if he hasn't already blocked, he definitely will. You've got to save that Teferi, because that...
I don't imagine that Cedric has done this after blocks.
Teferi is alive.
Oh, he's attacking his face?
Oh, wow. Now, that's a very aggressive play.
Absolutely. So Teferi's ultimate is -7, isn't it?
-8.
-8.
So he's safe from the Teferi ultimate for one more turn cycle.
Yes. And he's got 2 blockers in play. So if Cedric has a piece of Cedric does have a piece of removal here because he can just down tick the. Oh no! Lethal.
No, he's great.
Do you know who's never missed lethal? Twitch chat's never missed lethal.
Twitch chat has never missed lethal. So if he'd have ticked down the Teferi there, Justin's tapped out. That's lethal. Cedric is instead choosing to draw a card, cycle a land. He'll see lethal eventually.
Lethal.
Maybe he won't.
Maybe not.
Maybe he's going to give his opponent another turn.
Okay. Block.
Yeah.
And... oh well. I think he's far enough ahead.
Cedric has decided to give Justin another turn. That was very generous
of him, yes.
Very nice.
So, obviously, we're sat here in the commentary dungeon.
We are.
And we've got the benefit of an overview, and we're not playing the game as we go through it. Look at this value. And we can sit here and go, oh, you missed lethal.
I hate the idea of being commentated upon because it just identifies everything that I would do wrong, and I would do so much wrong.
Look at it, watch it, and learn from your mistakes.
Oh, I wouldn't go back and watch it.
Really?
I'd never want to see myself.
I might go back and look at my Legacy game again.
Yeah?
Yeah, maybe.
Actually, that's a good point. I did go back and watch my Legacy game after last week's.
Okay.
Against Rob. I just wanted to see myself thrash Rob Storm again.
Good.
There wasn't really a great deal of choices to make in that game against Rob. Wow.
We take that one. That one. I want that one.
So, what can we do here for Justin?
Attack. Get him dead. Hopefully nothing blocks. Or that, or he's got the trample combat trick in hand.
If he's got that, then we've got a game.
Yeah. He's doing something. He's definitely pumping.
He knows
up.
his opponent's got sync. Okay, he's just pumping, and that's game. Scarab God dies. Cedric gets to untap and kill him. So
if he wants to.
I mean, he could have killed him last time, but he decided not to.
Right, okay.
Justin decides to concede. I don't know whether Justin saw his opponent Cedric had lethal the previous game, but
yeah,
if your opponent hands you another turn on a silver platter, you take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It does not matter if...
Cedric might be very upset with us commentating on him and saying, oh, you missed lethal. So he's playing blue-black, splash-white.
Yes, that's absolutely right. The main bulk of the deck is blue-black. It's all... It's spot removal rather than board sweepers. It's Vraska's Contempt over settles.
Yeah.
You just then... The white splash in standard with this mana is never free, but is worth it for Teferi.
Oh, yeah.
Just the most powerful card in standard one.
It's not free, but it's pretty cheap. Is the white splash?
Yes, definitely.
Just get to replace some basics with some white dual lands.
Very true.
And if you're going to play, you can play some Aether Hubs as well.
You could play some Aether Hubs.
Some Tendo Ice Bridges.
Yes.
Shall I go find out what they're sideboarding?
Let's see what they're sideboarding.
Okay.
So, again, if I take my little guess, Justin's probably interested in quite a lot of black cards out of the sideboard, so he's probably got access to more copies of Duress, maybe some Lost Legacies. He might have more Blossoming Defences. They're very good against the black-based control deck. And yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. The Teferi Splash is almost always free. The card is just so powerful that there's no reason not to play it. So if I was Cedric, on the other hand, I think I'd probably be wanting to look at some cheaper removal spells. Maybe some board sweepers. Thorn Lieutenants are not a great point spot removal at. So then, we've got a big smirk on someone's face. So
okay, I'm interested to see what you said.
So my assumption from Justin's side is that he'd be interested in some black cards. Probably more copies of Duress. Maybe something like a Lost Legacy.
The only black card he's bringing in is Aragel's Bloodfast.
That's a very good one. What about a...
He's bringing in 4 other cards, 3 of which are Vine Mare, and 1 of which is Pouncing Shearpard, or whatever it's called.
Prowling Serpapard.
Prowling Serpapard.
The 3 mana 4/3 that makes creature spells uncounterable. I could maybe see Yanni's expertise if it's in Cedric's board.
Cedric is bringing in 2 white cards, which cost double white.
Okay, so likely Wraths.
2 Settle the Wreckage.
Yep.
And he's also bringing in... what else did I say?
2 Fumigate, 2 Settle.
No, so the only sweeper he's bringing in is Settle. He's also looking at... it slipped my mind, I'm really sorry.
That's absolutely fine. So, Cedric interested in those mass removal spells in Settle the Wreckage. Justin more interested in card advantage here. It looks like his sideboard plan.
So I think the Vine Mare, he just wants to go a bit faster and have some cards that are immune to removal spells.
Yeah. Doesn't do well against Settle the Wreckage, but against the other removal spells that Cedric's got, Vraska's Contempt, etc.
Yeah.
They're obviously... Void Mares are obviously incredibly powerful. Knowing from sitting in the control seat against that card many times, it's quite miserable to see your opponent.
Cedric was boarding out some Syncopates as well.
Okay. Interesting.
So, because Justin seemed to have a loss of mana in play. Syncopate, maybe not so good against the deck that's playing Elvish Rejuvenator.
Absolutely, and especially on the draw when it's that little bit weaker as well.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
So we just reset. They're just resetting their life totals, and we'll shortly have game 2 for you. Of course, we're down to 20 minutes, so it was a long game 1.
It was. One of those decks is a control deck.
One of those decks was a control deck, and against control, the games invariably take longer.
The other one was quite mid-range as well, so I think that it was fine. Like, yes, it'll take a bit longer, especially if one deck is a little bit light on ways to win the game.
Yeah, I don't think Cedric's light on ways to win the game. I mean, at the end of the game, we saw 2 Torrential Gearhogs, a Scarab God, and a
He could have played
Teferi.
more aggressively, but he played the safe option, I think.
I mean, we know he could have won one turn early,
But
but
that was safe to do.
he
what
took
he
the
did.
safe line, which is, to be fair, not wrong. Any line that you take to win the game is correct. So, looks like Cedric's keeping his hand. They're both keeping their hands, so off we go. Both players on 7 cards. Does he have the all-important Termalan or Ralph?
It does look like it. Yes, he does.
The most important start.
This means that he can play a turn 2 Steel Leaf Champion.
Or Serpapard.
Or Serpapard, although he only has 1 Serpapard.
A very good card, though.
Means that all of his creature spells are uncounterable. So it is 3 mana, and it is
A Steel Leaf Champion.
Steel Leaf Champion. Called it.
As predicted.
As predicted.
The way this goes, on the play, Llanowar Elf into Steel Leaf Champion, I mean, Cedric could be dead before he gets to play a
He could.
Settle the Wreckage.
He could. What's the destroy target non-legendary permanent?
Cast
free
down.
check. If he plays cast down, that'd be quite good. If he plays cast out, that would also be quite good as well.
Cast down doesn't see that much play.
That's because there are a lot of legends.
There are a lot of very
in
good
play
legends.
in this,
The-
or historic spells even.
The control deck can play one or two copies, but no more than that. I don't know what Justin might be thinking about. I can't imagine there's anything I'd want to play any more than a Llanowar Elf.
Yeah.
So Elvish Clan Caller here. We've got the 2 mana Lord. So if Justin attacks, this is 6, 7, 8 damage on turn 3.
That's a lot.
It's a lot for standard.
Yeah. What's his land that he's got on tap there? Is that tap for...
That's a good question. That
Is it an Evolving Wilds?
No, it's not an Evolving Wilds. That's a gold land, so it produces multiple... Cedric has the cast down we were just talking about.
Nailed it. And a very nice cast down.
He's got the FNM promo one, which is my personal preference, being that I collect FNM promos.
If you have any FNM promos that George doesn't have, George would love to trade them from you. I have no clue what his list is. I'm sure he can tell you.
Invariably, it's anything from older than 2011-ish.
Oh, right, okay.
So that land he's got untapped is an unclaimed territory.
Okay, alright, so that...
Let's
one
see-
tap? One mana? Or is it just...
It taps for a colour of your choice to cast. It's a Cavern of Souls
Oh,
without the
right, so
uncounterable.
you name a creature type.
You name a
yes.
creature type and it
Yeah.
can tap for any colour.
That's cool.
That cast down was a very important play. Justin left in maybe slightly awkward position now. I think you still have to attack with both. Oh no, he's playing a Llanowar Elf off his Llanowar Elf.
He's obviously tapping all his mana this turn.
And an Elvish Rejuvenator.
And an Elvish Rejuvenator. Now we know that Cedric has looked at boarding out his Syncopates. Did he leave any in?
I mean, he does play Disallow as well, so... Would you disallow Elvish Rejuvenator here?
I think so.
For mana efficiency, and also with
Yes,
the Clan
gives
Caller,
you
it is a
something to do,
2-powered creature.
yeah. Oh, Alex, what was your result?
So, here we go. Rejuvenator, top 4 cards. He
Yep.
finds a Woodland Cemetery from those things, so gets to put that into play tapped.
That's pretty good.
Fixing his mana somewhat. He didn't have a reliable black source before then. And attacking for 1 point of damage. But
It may matter.
every little helps.
Indeed.
As we saw earlier in the Wizards game,
Yeah.
finished the game on 1 life, didn't he?
He did. I don't think he missed any damage in that game though.
No, Camille, Rejuvenated doesn't also take a creature. It can only take a land from the top 5 cards. So it is card advantage because you do get to put a land into play.
Yeah, it's good. It's very good.
But it is a 3-mana 1/1. So it's not the most threatening
It's
of
a
cards.
2-mana Rampant Growth with a 1/1 attached.
Yes, it is a very good card, but it's not one of the most threatening 3-mana plays. It's not a Steel Leaf champion.
Yes, true. So that I believe is Search for Azcanta.
It certainly looks like one.
Or if I was playing a deck with blue mana and putting 2 mana for a flip card, it probably wouldn't be Aragorn's Bloodfast.
No, or any of the other flip cards, like the Thematic Compass we were just talking about. I imagine, Search for Azcanta, one of the most powerful cards, seeing play in almost every format as legal then.
Yes.
Marwyn the Nurturer, this card.
I have sleeved up a Search for Azcanta in Legacy. I've not sleeved one up in Vintage because I've not sleeved up Vintage.
I've sleeved one up in Legacy as well, playing Miracles. Marwyn eating an Essence scattered there. Oh, but Justin then able to slam down another Thorn Lieutenant.
That's cool. Get some more damage in. It's quite a big board for Justin.
It is, but they're all... 3 of them are only 1-powered creatures.
The land. I think he's going to put this in the bin. Depends what's in his hand. If he desperately needs a land.
I mean, if we have land sort of fumigate this turn, then that's
that's really
bad
powerful.
for
I don't
Justin.
think he wasn't brawling in fumigates though.
There's always a chance there might be one in the main, a couple in the main maybe, but he's thinking very hard about this land.
No.
I suppose it is his...
It's his 5th, so it is important. So,
but is it his second black source? Could that be why? Maybe he's got lands in hand, but he doesn't have another black source. Maybe that's why he's toying it with it. Scarab God very powerful though.
Yes.
Does leave him open though. He's tapped all his mana on his own turn.
I think the blocker is important at this point, to be honest.
I think so too. He can eat those little creatures.
Justin at 6/7 mana already.
Let's just have Clan Caller,
Yeah.
and job done.
Yes.
As it is, that looks like a Gift of Paradise, I believe. Popping it on the unclaimed territory. Now, I'd have probably tapped the unclaimed territory and put that on a forest.
It makes your forest a little bit more versatile, and if someone actually does destroy your land, they can take your best land with your best enchant land away from you.
Well, that's it. Field of Ruin can only target non-basics as well, so if you pop it on a forest, it protects you from that.
Yeah,
effect.
worth doing.
And yeah, you're right, Camille.
There's a lot of things to think about though. We get to sit here and analyse everything. If you're playing a game of Magic, oh, interesting, he's throwing it. But then again, he's got the Scarab God to get that back with.
What he did there was change Torrential Gear Hulk from 6 mana to 4 mana by putting it in the graveyard.
Ooh, I want to play this deck.
It's nice in the control mirror as well. Being able to bring back your opponent's Torrential Gear Hulks. So one of the plays I've made before is kill your opponent's Scarab God.
Yeah.
Play your own. Use your own to exile your opponent's Scarab God.
Put it in play.
Sacrifice
your own,
yours, which
and then
goes
it goes back to your hand. And you've got a Scarab God in play.
Yes.
Nice.
And your opponent loses the ability. Theirs obviously doesn't bounce back because it's exiled.
Yep.
Interesting. So Justin's deciding to jam now with these 3 creatures, holding back 1 Llanowar Elves. He needs the 6th mana. Do you think that's to pump the Thorn Lieutenant?
I think so. But he has 6 mana there. Without that.
He does, because he has the Gift of Paradise, you're right. So Cedric making the play we discussed earlier, exiling the Torrential Gear Hulk.
I imagine he's casting down here.
I think so too. And what do you target?
The scariest thing? I can't quite see.
Thorn Lieutenant is the
Thorn
scariest,
Lieutenant's,
but
yeah.
targeting it does give Justin a 1/1 elf.
It does, but this is safest in case he's got Blossoming Defense.
And there's the 1/1 elf. That
Yeah.
flipped green sleeved card acting as a 1/1 elf.
With a counter on it. Just so we're aware.
Yes. And then Cedric getting to eat both of those 1/1s. This is a very, very unfortunate set of circumstances for Justin. Does he have anything to come back? No, he can't. And that's Justin conceding there.
Yeah, I think so.
I think by the time Scarab God's bringing back Torrential Gearhulk, I think that marks the end of your time, doesn't it?
It does indeed. Cedric's deck there just completely overpowering Justin's. It was very cool to see elves on camera. We were really hoping that would be amazing. We didn't know that Cedric was going to be playing something quite so powerful and abusive, but I don't blame him. I like that deck. It's good fun.
Those cards, Teferi, Torrential Gearhulk, Scarab God.
Yes.
The three of those together make a very powerful deck. And you can draw similarities. Detection Tower.
Yes, okay, cool.
So Cedric was aware of the cards like Carnage Tyrant, Void Mare.
Campbell, that was the other one. Campbell.
Bolton Campbell, interesting.
Campbell.
Because Justin's deck is sort of on the slightly more mid-range / aggressive side, without that many instances of sorceries.
Cedric really does like Esper, but he also likes artifacts. He's got a good vehicles deck somewhere knocking around. He's got mono green Stompy, hasn't he, as well? He's got a lot of decks that he could bring to FNM.
And he's got the Jace's signature spellbook negates there.
Nice.
So
we've got one match left that's still going. Do you care to hazard a guess what that match is?
It's a good question. So it's obviously not going to be Sam Points' mono red.
No, they finished already.
It's not going to be. It could be. It's not Pegler's.
No, Cedric and Justin are both finished. Tom Love has dropped. Joe got the bye. Ben Campsall. So the answer is...
so it has to be Dan Ruff, because he's playing the Teferi Turbo Fog deck.
It is. Dan and Oliver are still playing. Teferi Turbo Fog is still going.
Goodness me. He's taking an outrageous amount of turns.
I hope so.
So, well, based on the fact the game's been going this long, Oliver is on Black White Vampires, and having played that matchup before, it's quite strong for the Turbo Fog deck.
Okay.
It's, there's, unlike the mono red decks, which have reach, they can go straight to your face with their burn spells. The black deck doesn't really have that. They win exclusively through creatures, which is obviously exactly what the fog deck wants to be playing against.
So I imagine Turbo Fog, Dan's probably having quite a lot of fun doing that.
So as far as I'm aware, Dan doesn't play very much standard.
No.
I don't think he plays a huge amount of Magic in general, but definitely
he
not
has
much
historically
standard.
played Magic. So we met Dan several years ago, 5-6 years ago, playing Magic elsewhere, up in Nottingham, and he was at Loughborough University at the time, and he put together an amazing...
How many players today?
We had 12 players today. Put together an amazing Esper Enchantress deck. That played all the Enchantress cards. So he's playing Totem Armor, he's playing Core Spirit Walker, and all this sort of stuff. Spirit Dance, sorry. All this sort of stuff.
Can he pick his sideboard up?
Yes, he can. And then he also jammed 4 Jace the Mind Sculptors in it, because we were playing Zendikar.
Because why not?
Zendikar Standard. And it was monstrous, and he made Rob seriously lose the game quite hard. It was brilliant, absolutely amazing. That deck was truly amazing. He was enchanting his lands with like Zendikons and all this sort of stuff. And incidentally, I've got Jace the Mind Sculptor because I own 4, and it's in standard, and I might as well.
Wow,
but it's good fun. It looked amazing. He had a lot of fun playing those sort of decks, and it was really all about decks that were a bit off the wall.
Have you got all your results?
We're waiting for one more, Dan and Oliver.
But we're not. But he doesn't play standard regularly.
No, so Dan plays a lot of Legacy.
So that's why he decided to come down today. He borrowed my Turbo Fog deck.
Yeah, he was in town. He said, is anyone playing Magic tonight? And I went, yeah, we've got an FNM going, and we offered him a deck, and he's turned up, played some games. He's not won them all. He's not lost them all. Either.
He hasn't lost them all either. He's done quite well actually. The deck is frustrating to play against.
I can imagine.
Dan won 2-0.
Dan won 2-0. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. We've got some...
You pulled your promos?
Yes, here you go.
That marks the end of our FNM. So, final standings. We have, from 12th place up, Sam Cook, Josh Love, Oliver Pass, Ben Capsule, Joe Quilty, Thomas Love, Daniel Ruff, Justin Denham, Now coming up into the top 4, just missing out on top 3 is Cedric. Third place, Alex Pegler.
So Alex won his match, which meant that he went to 9 points.
So he was the only person on 9 points.
And then first and second, we have a draw. We have an ID. So Sam Points and Matt Perry both at 10 points.
Do we know who actually won that matchup?
I do not know. I think I overheard Matt saying that Sam went when they actually played their match out 2-0.
Come on, you don't want to scoop the first Nexus Fate. You see, the Teferi Turbo Fog deck does fizzle quite hard sometimes. And if you scoop the first Nexus of Fate, you're not giving yourself the best opportunity. I would say by the time your opponent has cast the third Nexus of Fate in a row,
I'll be back in a moment.
Or if they manage to get up to the all-important Teferi Ultimate, that's the right point to scoop. But having played it, you can easily cast 1, 2, sometimes even 3 Nexus of Fates in a row, and that's it. I know, a lot of people feel that way as well. It's quite frustrating because it's even worse than Control, because your opponent doesn't even let you play any magic. They take all the turns, they take all the magic, and you're just left there sat looking. At least Control, you get the illusion of playing, because you still get to cast your spells, even if they're countered or killed, whereas Fog doesn't even let you cast your spells. But I think probably the third Nexus of Fate is probably the right time to concede.
Cool, awesome. So I've just sorted the prizes out. Top half get boosters.
Top half get boosters, fantastic. So that is Daniel Ruff and up.
Excellent news.
Very well done to them.
Cool. So we're just sorting out prizes at the moment, and then me and George are going to have a quick game. I'm going to see if some people want to commentate.
Yeah, absolutely. It might be good to get Martin and Dan in, or some others who, Sam, some of the guys who have some legacy experience. Was probably be a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, I'll go find some people.
And thanks very much for tuning in for Standard FNM.
Thank you very much.
Do hang around if you want to see a little bit of Legacy. Not every day that we get to play Legacy, so we're taking the opportunity when we can. And we're going to have 2 very knowledgeable commentators to come talk you through it. We're just handing out the prizes. So Alex Pegler third. Sam Points taking second, and Matt Perry taking first place. Those are the official results based on standings. I don't know who actually won the matchup between Matt Perry and Sam, but I believe it could have been Sam, but we'll have that confirmed in just a second.
Very good.
So we're... Huh?
Very good.
It was good.
Very good. Are you still live?
We are still live, because Nick and I are about to go and play a game of Legacy.
They're playing Legacy.
On the camera, we're going to get...
Are you playing on the camera right now?
Yeah, we'll just have a quick game of Legacy. We'll get we'll get Dan and Martin in to commentate.
Fantastic, sounds great.
We've had Dan in already. Martin, we haven't had before, but he will come to commentate. He was my opponent playing Death and Taxes.
He was. And they know their stuff when it comes to Legacy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Cool. So I'll just go grab them?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to go grab them, we'll get
a game in.
You and I can get started playing on a game.
Because we haven't got to play much tonight.
We don't. So we do get to commentate, which is nice. We do get to see a lot of Magic, and we do get to talk to you guys in the chat and whatnot. But we don't get to play, which sometimes can be a disappointment. So we're going to take this opportunity now to squeeze in some games. So the matchup is going to be myself on Rug Delver. I'm going to be, it looks like, on the Game of Thrones playmat. And then we're going to have Nick on Grixis Control, which is what he was playing earlier.
Hello.
So hello, this is Martin. Martin's going to come and commentate on mine and Nick's game. And I'm just updating the scores.
You got your deck back?
Yeah, Nick's got it.
Thanks very much, gents.
Oh, thank you.
I'll jump into this chair. Where are we? I don't know where we are. Somewhere.
So the camera's there,
we're
on
there.
top of the
Okay.
screen.
Right.
Hi, Mark, how are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Let's finally get round to watching some Legacy. The only reason I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, after my failed attempt to conquer standard, you know, I'll be
Ready, really ready to go.
well into talking about stuff I actually have.
Yeah, like because you've seen some of these cards before.
Rudimental understanding.
rather than just guessing at what Turbo Fug does, which is pretty much what I do when people play standard.
To be fair, I had a good guess, so you know.
Yeah, I mean 2 and 2's fine, but it's not exciting. Come on, Nick. I'm ready to go now. I'm hyped. And George's shiny playmat, he loves it.
That is quite disturbing to watch on the screen, but yeah.
But
what's Nick playing?
Nick is playing Grixis Control.
Oh, I see.
And George, I assume, is playing Rug Delver. So we'll see what happens. Come on, Nick.
So that will probably depend on how many wastelands can George draw.
Yeah, George is going to need something nice and quick, and stop Nick from interacting, probably with his Delver. It'd be nice if I could. It'd be nice if I could beat the Delver, but I obviously can't.
Okay, can we change the deck colours in the corner?
I assume so.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So where are we?
You've just given him one life.
Nope, not that one.
Yeah, click on the green.
That one. Ah, here we go.
There we go.
So George must be green, blue, and red. That's my first guess. And then Nick must be
blue, black, red.
Oh yeah, blue, black, red.
There we go.
Save. There we go.
There we are.
No, that's
Yeah, sorry, Martin is taking a while, unfortunately.
it's all right. I can't work. No, it's all right. I've got this. I've managed to completely get this round the wrong way because I don't know how this technology works.
It looks like George leads with Basic Island.
No, Nick has led with Basic Island. Nick's on the right.
Oh, now we got it right. Okay.
Yeah,
that makes a lot more sense because George actually doesn't play Basic Island
Yeah,
in his deck
yeah.
list, unless I've missed some recent developments. In
No,
Legacy.
there have been no changes to Rug Delver. It's all right. Right, okay, it's all right. I'm still messing around with this technology thing. So
there
that's
we go. George fetches Tropical.
Black, red,
and leads with a Nimble Mongoose.
Is the goose loose yet? Oh no, probably not.
Yeah, see, what do you think about the turn 1 brainstorm?
I like a turn 1 brainstorm. If Nick's sort of lacking a little bit on action in hand, he's not interacting with the mongoose directly. I mean, because it's has Shroud.
What I don't like, yes, but I mean, don't you think that you open yourself up to days really badly? Because if you draw now, unless you don't have the second land, in which case, I suppose that is what you want to do.
Yeah, playing into the days is awkward, but sometimes you just have to go ahead and do it.
I mean, I much more like, it's not like he's about to get wasted or anything, so
no.
or stifled. So I think I would have rather played the island, played the fetch land, brainstormed, and then see one more card.
Yeah, it's weighing up for the perfect brainstorm.
Oh, so I can't quite see it. And here's the days for.
Yeah, so it's the Diabolic Edict.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So he's edicted. He does have the interaction, but that is dazed. This is the invocation days because George is like that. But we love him nonetheless. Back on the tropical island, which isn't that surprising. Might be a bit stifled for mana at the moment, but seems to be playing okay into it. Yeah.
Nothing unexpected happening here, and that is followed up by
another goose. These are some pretty solid answers.
I didn't quite catch a glimpse of his hand, but I presume Nick's got a Toxic Deluge somewhere in his deck.
No, I think deluges are only in the sideboard. I think there's a bit of a lack of sweepers in the main deck. There's Liliana Fatal Push, the Last Hope Liliana.
Yeah, maybe it's just one of the more progressive lists I've seen recently. I've seen oh God, tell me the name. I think Reed Duke was playing like a 4-hour stream on YouTube the other day when he played the Grixis Delver deck.
Yeah,
and
no, control deck, the Grixis control, yeah.
And that main deck, the Deluge.
Oh right, okay. So yeah, there's probably
Which I think makes sense. Because
yeah, like having a one-off sweeper that's 3 mana seems like a solid choice to me. Particularly things like Nimble Mongoose, where
now that the Mongoose is back again, you know.
yeah. Nick, tutoring again, or fetching a land or something. Oh, yeah, fetch it. Yeah, sure.
Here comes the first wasteland target.
Yep. Play nicely into that, but what's he doing with red black? What's he playing with the red black?
I'm not sure.
Is he just setting up because he needs the red mana? So he's not playing any basic mountains. So his red sources are all non-basic.
Although I can't see why getting lightning boulder up here and running
Him
here.
to Torak, sure.
There we are. That actually makes sense.
George hasn't cantripped yet, so selected randomly.
Puts George down to and gets the wasteland.
Gets the wasteland. That's good. And fetch, I think. I'm not quite sure.
I can't really see it.
Yeah, I can't honestly can't tell. Ponder, sure.
The full art one, which I actually don't like as an artwork. I don't. It's a bit too dark.
I prefer the orb one. I'm not a fan of
the Lorwyn one.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the Merfolk Ponder. I'm not a fan of the fishy Ponder.
Oh, you like the three balls?
I like the Ord. Yeah. I like the Ord one.
I think I still have a foil playset of those.
No, just that fancy. Here he comes with the goose.
They're on sale though.
They're not loose though. They are still not loose.
No, but 5 is getting awfully close now.
Yeah, Nick doesn't have any graveyard interaction main deck, so he might be in for a little bit of trouble there.
He's not favoured in game 1 if he doesn't have a sweeper main deck.
No sweepers.
Because even Liliana doesn't really buy him a lot of time here.
No, it's not Veil. It's Last Hope. So it's the -2, -1. So he can't even interact with them. Ponder, dig for something. I think he might have another. Oh, he can. He's got Snapcasters. So if he's got the land, he can snap and replay. Well, he's actually not at the moment. Snare.
Is that a seal of fire?
Seal of fire for the enchantment for the Goyf. Yeah. Stifled. I like this. I like the stifle there.
Yeah.
Keep a little bit of control over his mana.
And 6 cards in graveyard. And that looks like something we can't quite
it's
see.
Gurmag Angler.
Yes. That's very, very good here.
The lighting's a little bit off, but yeah, it's a Gurmag Angler. Yeah, exile his graveyard, make a 5/5. Blocks the geese. That's I think as much as he can do against the geese. Now he's got the edict, which he's kept in his graveyard because he wants to flash it back.
And there's
Bolt Snapcaster, Seal of Fire.
Yeah,
George.
Yeah, that makes sense here because that threatens the Gurmag Angler. Here they come. He's got to block here, I think.
Yeah, George is at 6. He goes to 7. So, I mean, he's effectively trading the angle for the goose, but
it's still a 2 for 1 because of the seal. So
yeah. I think that's still fine. I'm not sure Nick could have done any better there.
No, because he will be on 7, either way because of the seal.
Yeah.
So I think. Keeping the Gurmag Angler back here does make a lot of sense.
Keep cantripping. See what we can find. He's got Strixes. Sorry, he's got Strixes for interaction with the goose.
Yeah, you might want to start looking for one of them shortly. Although in ideal, well, he'd probably get another Hymn in first.
Yeah, another Hymn would be
George
nice.
should be down to 2 cards now.
Yeah.
But not much forthcoming, but a basic island. There's another hit.
3.
Putting Nick down to 8.
It looks like he wants to interact. Here we go. Snapcaster Mage. Sure. And the Spell Snare.
Right into the spells now.
Yep. A nice and tidy answer there for George. Down to 8.
Yeah, so this, I haven't watched it for a couple of months, but I do remember when the deck was cutting the spell snare. Obviously, that has changed again now.
Yeah, it all swings around. There's, Rug's back in the format for a start, after just completely and totally disappearing. And that's the Baleful Strix. So Nick can finally attempt to do something. No counterspell from George. It's a good sign at least.
I mean, he's blown a lot of his powder here because the seal was able to deal with the Strix, so was the snare, and both gone. I think George.
Bolt, another happy.
Another Gurmag Angler.
Another Angler. Tarfire for the Strix. Again, more reaching to make the biggest goif you can.
And here's another
mongoose. Is that all 4? Or is that the third one?
That's the third one.
Third one, okay.
Yeah,
I mean, they are the most resilient threats you can make. This has got to be a Jace. Yeah, Jace Mind Sculptor. Here we go. Here's the power. Nice. Yeah, he's going to Fate Seal himself.
Interesting.
He obviously doesn't like his hand, and despite casting 3 ponders, hasn't seen what he's looking for. I mean, he's seen a reasonable amount of blocking, trying to keep control of something.
Just don't forget he is. I mean, I don't suppose your favourite thing for your opponent to do is drop triple mongoose.
No, that's not exactly what you're looking for. He's going to brainstorm in the face of the Delver.
Jace zeroing. Delving for an answer for that Delver.
Yeah.
Haha.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Just trying. He's at 8. What's he doing? So is George even considering the Jace? Is he thinking about it?
I mean, it says Nick draws 4 cards every turn.
Sure, he's got the fatal push for the.
Fatal push.
Fatal push for the Delver is a good start.
Oh,
and an Edict.
Oh, that is.
Yeah,
that
we
is
like the Edict there.
Because he still needs to find the bold, or assuming he's playing a dismember.
Yeah.
But then he still can't kill the Jace quite off and drawing 4 cards.
No.
Yeah.
It's all
and
over
here's
there.
the scoop. So, what do you reckon we can expect on the sideboards?
So I think the Lily for Nick. I think certainly the Liliana's coming out. The Last Hope. I think that's a reasonable takeout. It kills the Delver if it's unflipped. It doesn't interact with the Mongoose. It doesn't interact with the Tarmogoyf. I think that's coming out. He's got Deluge to bring in. I think he's got some more Edicts to bring in. Or another Edict. I think he's got another. He's probably got at least another sweeper other than the Toxic Deluge. I'll defer to you for the Rug Delver.
I mean, it's a bit of there's different theories of how to approach that game. Like one idea could be you try and go for the extractions and really try to negate the value for snapcasters and try to keep the Gurmag Angler out. Oh, it looks like they're showing us.
Oh well, that really helps.
That makes life a lot easier. Yes.
So this is Nick's whole sideboard. So he's got 4 blast effects. Flusterstorms. I can't see these 2. I can't see the 2 in the middle, to be honest.
Yeah, unfortunately, the lighting is a bit off. Yeah, there's the Liliana going out.
Yeah, that's not a surprise to me.
Jace.
Take out a Jace a little slow. Yeah. Both Jaces. I actually don't hate leaving the Liliana the Veil in here because it does interact with the bigger ones. I like sacrifice effects. That seems solid to me.
And obviously, True Nemesis is something Nick wants to bring in because that's just so great in holding it back.
Is it just a blocker?
Yes,
I mean,
but it's.
I mean, it blocks everything. Don't get me wrong. It does block everything.
It blocks everything but Delver, and it just helps so much. In if you manage to land 1, 2, and 3, what you achieve is massively stabilises your board.
Sure.
Because Goyf can't pass it. You can't really, unless you got 2 Goyfs, you can't really attack into it without losing one of your creatures.
Sure. So I'm curious as to what else Nick can bring in here. I mean, it looks like he's bringing in the Red Blasts, which I don't think is completely out of the question.
Yeah. I didn't see those 2 cards. Unfortunately, I didn't see.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, Toxic.
Oh, of course.
A Deluge. He's bringing in the True Name, as you said, like just solid blocker. Do you like the Blue Blast?
No, I
it's just lightning bolts, isn't it?
Yes, it's.
Oh, sorry, and the Tar Fire and the Sealer Fire.
I mean, plus.
Are they coming out?
Possibly whatever comes out of the sideboard, because Rock Delver can bring in Ret Blast, which does make sense.
I mean, is he taking out all the Planeswalkers? Because it's a control deck. Surely that's the win condition, right?
You like, think that? I mean, I don't think I would type out all of the chasers.
You make the happy. So you've got Angler, Happy Fish. You've got the Happy Fish, which is okay. It's a 5/5. Well, we can do a trade, or there's ways to beat that. Snapcaster Mage isn't going to win you the game, no. And the Strixes I'm gonna beat down your opponent. I mean, I've seen it done, but it's not a good win condition. But taking out all of the Planeswalkers.
Plus, don't forget you are cutting a lot of blue cards here.
Yeah.
Replacing it with black and.
I mean, I would have thought the Forces come out.
Yes, actually, that I would definitely do. I mean, especially. Oh, he's on the draw, so I mean, there's a case. There's again different philosophies. Some people say on the draw you can leave the Forces in.
Yeah. And
then game 3, once you're back on the play, assuming you lose, you take them out.
So George, quickly before they actually do jump into the game, because we've talked a lot about Grixis control and not very much about Rogue Delver. So Nick's hand appears to be mostly blasts, and George is flashing his very quickly.
Yeah,
Delver
brings the turn 1 Delver.
I mean, what's he bringing in?
I mean,
the Forces are going out. I think.
Yes, Forces are going out. I would bring in, assuming he's got it in the sideboard, I would bring in the Sulfuric Vortex.
Yeah,
in the control game, absolute staple. Which even opens the case again for Nick to say, if he's anticipating the Vortex, then the single blue blast, you could make a case for it.
Sure.
I still don't think it's worth it because you got other ways to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's what other counter magic are they playing? They're playing Forces.
Yes. Rogue Delver usually has a. Oh, there's the first Red Blast.
Yeah, play a Pyro on the Delver. I don't hate that if he's not got a removal spell. That seems fine. Means you don't have to play around the blind flip Delver, which is always just the most painful.
Normally how you lose.
Yeah, that's just the most painful way to lose to Delver Secrets.
No, I mean, what else does he have? I mean, spell snares are really, really good against the Grixis. It just gets so much. It gets the Baleful Strix, which you really don't want on the board because it's just self-replacing nonsense.
Wasteland on the on the Badlands.
Absolute.
And Nick's now just hoping he's not going to get punished.
Absolute no-brainer.
Into fetch land.
Yeah,
now having played against Nick quite a lot and having seen Nick play, I suspect this is going to go for a basic. In the same way that I play Maverick, because when you get Wasteland out of the game, that is a terrible feeling.
Oh, found the basic island. So
basic island's fine.
No need to do anything here.
Nope.
Days proof yourself for.
Just draw go is fine. I think in this position George isn't threatening him with any of the quick threats. The Delver's been dealt with, so that's a good place to start.
Yes, and that doesn't appear to be a replacement quite yet. Although now we get land creature instant. I would expect a Tarmogoyf to land soon.
Yeah, I could see it. I could very easily see a Tarmogoyf here. So maybe Nick's holding back the fail push, etc.
I mean, these are, just by the looks of it,
Blast, Bolt.
Yeah, and here comes Tarmogoyf.
Here's the Goyf.
And these are, you want to keep that red man open and at least represent the Red Blast. Exactly what I was about to say is it's a situation that can easily just evolve around the counter war over that Stifle here. Because it blocks Nick, it keeps Nick off the fatal push for that turn.
Yeah.
So it's just giving him a rather unpleasant time because he doesn't really know. Oh yeah.
He's kept the Forces in. See, I'm not sure I agree with that. The Colligan's command can grind him out, but I think we're quite a long way off that. Particularly with Stifle on the fetch is going to be quite punishing. Make a goose as well. This is already not looking very good for Nick.
No.
He needs 2 more lands and a deluge fairly quickly. I would have thought.
Oh, he's
going to force the goose, pitch to Snapcaster. Sure. I think we're quite a long way off Snapcaster here, so I think that's totally reasonable.
Here is UZ. But again, another Wasteland, which isn't totally unreasonable.
No, but push.
Oh.
So he did have the push. So I think stifling the fetch and just say, "Have you got the next lands?"
One of those situations. I mean, I debated about, you know, I mean, I've seen the Rockdale list without the stifles, you know, just packing more action.
Yeah.
You know, and because so many people say, oh, it's not really worth it. I mean, I've seen people cutting the wastelands.
I find it comes and goes in Delver decks in general. It seems to be more of a staple in Rug than say Bug Delver.
Yes.
But people come and go on it, and I think my personal view is that it's misevaluated sometimes. People are like, it's not good. The real objective is to make a difficult guy to deal with, and then just stop your opponent playing Magic. You know, Nick. Oh, right, okay, so we're exiling these cards. Make the Angler.
Yeah.
Just fine on this board, I think.
Oh, absolutely. I mean that's where Nick wants to be. You know, he's got the block. He's even going on the attack now. And George needs to find a Goyf soon, or an answer to.
Yeah, he needs to find. Yeah. More land just massively flooded, and George takes another one. Nick not even having to control the game there. So they got. I mean, if they're going again, they go back to the board. What are there changes? Is Nick bringing Planeswalkers back in? I don't like the forces. I'm sorry, I don't like the forces. It's so bad. Like
I think the problem with the forces against Rockdelver is what Rockdelver tries to do is force you into an attrition game really early.
Yeah.
Which is where I don't like the forces, because it leaves you 2 cards armor. Yes, I appreciate you will counter like a Mongoose or the odd Goyf or.
Yeah, if you look at your hand and go, do I have a removal spell? Oh, I better counter it if I don't. But it's disadvantage, and
Yes, I mean the problem is with, you know, now that you've Delver and Nimble Mongoose, you know, you got two 1-mana threats that will set you massively, but you just don't want to use 2 cards on a Mongoose, you know, unless you absolutely have to.
It's just straight up not worth it.
Especially after boarding when you got the deluge.
Bet up, Nick. While I think about it. Taking over. Oh, well. George has become sad. Taking the beatings at the hands of the Grixis control. Although we don't agree with Nick's sideboarding plan, I think.
No. I mean, as I said, you know, there is a school of thinking that says, you know, you can leave the forces in.
I mean, it just for me personally, it's the lack of win conditions. You take it. He's boarded out all of his win conditions. You know, yes, okay, you can beat your opponent to death with an Angler, which is effectively what he was about to do. The one bonus with the Angler is that because Rugdelver only has the lightning bolts, they can't just straight 1-for-1 it, which I think is, you know, leaving the Anglers in. It's a good blocker and it's perfectly solid.
We're just debating your
sideboarding plan.
I shouldn't have brought the blue blast in.
No, it wasn't even that. We don't agree with the leaving the forces in.
Oh right, okay.
Oh yeah.
And you took all of your win conditions. We were just saying you seemed to take all of your win conditions out.
Right. Yeah.
And leave the forces in, and we were just sort of randomly debating that.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's
but fair. I think we're being escorted from the booth. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed for commentating that.
That's all right. I'll have a lot commentating legacy. I'll come back.
Hopefully we've still got a stream and they've not destroyed it in our absence.
Just about from the looks of things. Thanks very much everyone for watching.
Thank you very much indeed. Yes, it's been great.
It was a joy
for joining us. Absolutely, yeah. Cool.
And I'll be back on Monday to stream some more Magic Arena. So
I'll be back next Friday.
Tune in for that. Thanks very much everyone.
Thank you very much everyone. Take care.